Hello.
Hello.
Happy Friday.
Good evening.
Friday.
Have we all got that Friday feeling, or?
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of.
Dong's here, of course we have.
Dong will spice things up, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Mo, thanks for joining us all the way from
It's Leicester. Thanks for having me. Dong, do you know the running joke? So
Yes.
First time not first time, but when we met Tom, we were talking about my tank, and Tom said, "Yeah, I know Mo. Yeah. If he's the one I'm thinking of, he's the one. He's from Leicester, and I'm actually Mo from Bristol. So we've always got this running joke. So Mo from Leicester. So Mo from Leicester.
Yeah. Anyway, okay. Thanks for rubbing it in, Mo. Yes.
Bristol's about 100 miles south.
Yeah, just a little bit further. But yeah, thanks for coming on, mate. Appreciate it.
No worries. Thanks for inviting me.
That. You won't get to speak tonight, trust me. It's all Dong. So Dong take over. As me and Jamie well know.
Yeah.
James, there's some new fish in the background. Let's have a look. What we got?
I've put all the fish I've managed to catch so far, which are a couple of zebra somas. So the gem tang, the yellow tang, there they are. The gold flake angel, a nice fish to experiment with, of course.
Yeah.
Tamini tang and the convict tang. So yeah.
Nice.
And the five damsels, obviously. So I'm slowly catching out the fish. I had a bit of a disaster with a fox face. I got him in the trap, tried to get him out, and he escaped. And now he won't go anywhere near the bloody thing. So he's wised up. But yeah, we'll get there. Perseverance.
Yeah. But slowly, or are you rushing it? Come on, you've been in the hobby long enough. Are you getting? Is the excitement getting the better of you?
Do you know what? I'm itching to get it going. The corals will be a long wait, but to get the fish in there, now I've got like a load of algae growing because the stratons have been cooking it. I just need those grazers and stuff in there to keep on top of it. But I'm sort of letting the glass at the sides and the back just go crazy with algae. Soak up as much nitrate, phosphate as they want, and then when I do my first water change, I'll razor it all off and get rid of it.
Good. Those fish that you've got in that tank, then, have they been in your other systems before, or are they used to a smaller tank? Is this a bit of an upgrade for them then? Yeah,
they're all from my existing system, so they are. It's the upgrade for them. If only they knew it, they'd go in the trap a lot easier, right?
Yeah. So no aggression. They're all getting on.
Yeah. No, they'll get on okay, and I'm using my sort of existing system now as almost like a semi-quarantine. So I know in that system I've had issues in the past. I've had spot on a powder blue because everyone has that. So all the fish that are destined in here are going to go through that system, get hardened off if you like, and exposed to what they need to. I can treat them easier in there because I can catch them in the frag system, but I'm happy that they're all, hardened up and good. They'll move over.
Happy days.
So, yeah.
Good. Well, me and Dong were just moaning about, I'm going to say it, Red Sea ATOs. I'm not impressed. It's going in the bin. Yeah,
right, okay.
you were in the wrong link. Yeah. So it was the ATO that I was, in fact, Drippy won it at not this year's Love to Reef, but the year before's Love to Reef, and he gave it me for the garage setup. And it's been running great for about 12 months. And recently, I don't know anybody else who in the comments has experienced this, it just started to just fail randomly. So it had a massive issue with a software or firmware update where it just didn't work. And I had a salinity swing, which I talked about on here, and I lost a few corals a while ago. Sorted that out. And then very recently, as in the last sort of few weeks, it has started to cut off when it thinks it's been running too long, which I get it. That is a function built in within its brain to do that, which you can override. But it's gone from happening when you're putting a lot of water through it to now not a lot at all, as in it's happening every time the ATO should come on. And as I was saying to Dong in the green room, it's now got to a point where the leak sensor has malfunctioned, so I disconnected it. Now the temperature sensor has malfunctioned, as in today, and as a result of the temperature sensor malfunctioning, the ATO itself doesn't work.
Oh, God.
And Dong, you happen to say that you've got a lot of customers that have experienced the same, haven't you?
Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep.
So when I first put mine on, I had to change the probe because they had a faulty batch of probes. So they sent Red Sea sent me out a brand new probe, and it's been faultless for 18 months.
Yeah, I get that. And I know it was free. I know it was free because it was in a raffle, right? So but when it first came out, it was 200. Was it bad? It was over £200 mark. Yeah. That's a lot of money for an ATO. And as I was saying before you two joined us, that I'd much rather it just be an ATO that's £200 that's not going to fail. I don't care about the bells and whistles, extra toys and things it can do. But anyway, we digress. Happy Friday. I'm moaning. It won't be a Friday. Don, you had a good week? You all right?
Yeah. Very good week. Thank you.
Good. Okay.
Yeah.
You've put another amazing presentation together for us tonight, which I'm looking
Mm-hmm.
forward to delving into in a second. But before we do that, let's say hello to the 60 odd of you that have joined us this Friday evening. Happy Friday to you all. As we usually start with our OG viewers, Mr. Wright in the house. Good evening. Hope you're good. Happy
Hi,
Friday.
John Wright.
Emma is with us as well. Good evening. A bunch of sausages. Gazazazaza is on the whiskey already. There you go, Dong. Your biggest fan.
Thank you.
He has asked me for your address, but don't worry, I haven't shared it with him yet. Just in case he turns up one day with a suitcase, wouldn't put it past him. Who else we got in here? Coach is with us as well. Good evening, Coach. Happy Friday, my man.
Hi, Coach.
Dan's here as well.
All right,
Happy Friday to you, Dan. Reef Rondo's in the house.
Right.
Very good. We'll see you next Friday. Friday after. Anthony's with us as well. Good evening, Anthony. Hope you're good. Nick and Stacey are with us as well. Let's have a flick through here.
Thank you.
Matty Boy as well. Contacted this guy in Ultimate Reef. Turns out to be Mo's nephew. It's a small world.
Oh,
He's talking.
Good evening.
Yeah.
Hope you're good.
Lovely tank.
Yes, amazing tank. Looking forward
It's
to
on
watching
Reef
that video.
Talk. Just dropped the video, so
Yes.
have a look.
Very good. I like how it says Meckley method / Meckley hybrid method / many methods.
I tried to get him to say it's Mo's method, but he wouldn't have it.
Fair enough. Good now, Julian Paul. Hope you're good. Happy Friday to you. Hope you're a cracking weekend. Local reefers to me. Nice to see you. Nice. Gary Class is here as well. Good evening.
Yeah.
Peter Parry. who I think I know more about. I think I know more about Peter Parry from last week's reef meet than I do about my missus. We talked that long about corals and stuff in general. This guy's like proper OG, like going to Germany, picking corals, Jolly Boys tours around Europe before everything got banned and shut down. Yes, a very seasoned.
I saw it on. Is it on Instagram or where did it pop up? Really nice. Nice tank.
Very seasoned reefer. Yeah, great. He showed me some pictures of his one of his old tanks, which was the proper KZ tank, the pastel colours, and it was amazing. Like what I really wanted to achieve years ago, and clearly didn't, obviously. Woody's Reefers here as well. Evening, Woody. Hope you're good.
Oh, yeah.
Good evening.
Dave's Reefs in the house. Good evening, good evening, good evening.
Good evening.
Dirty D's. Hello. Nicholas, Reefing by Design. Hope you're good, Nick. Hope you're well.
Nick.
Tech is with us. Chris, hope you're good.
Hi, Chris.
I like the recent Instagram post you've put. Very clean looking tank. Very nice. Very nice. Paul Davenport is away here as well. Good evening, good evening, good evening.
Good evening.
Here they are. Tommy and Sharon. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Hope you're good. Love to you both. For me and Kaz. Mr. Hartich is a big Dong fan, clearly. There you go.
Thank you. Good evening.
There you go.
Who doesn't love a big dong?
Dong will send you a signed Dong photo. Leave that to your imagination. That should be a prize for one of the games. Signed. Anyway, moving on. Harry's with us. Harry Bell. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening.
Hi, H.
Hope you're good. Stuart's with us as well. Thank you for tuning in. Here we go. He's coming back again from Canada, Dong. Canadian follower. Derek Ebbs. Thanks.
Hi, Derek.
Ever so much.
Thank you
for the support.
Good evening, Derek.
We have Mr. Harry West in the house as well. Very nice to meet you, Aqua. Lovely to meet you.
Hi, Harry.
Hope you're good. Intrinsic's with us as well. Here we go. Here he is, Tezza. Hope you're good. Hope you had a good week, mate. Hello. Have I missed anybody? Yes. Spillers Reef is here. Good evening. Happy Friday. Thanks for joining us. Again, appreciate the support. Reefy Reese, wouldn't be a Friday without you. Thanks for joining. Alan, hope you're good. Mickey Boy Mick, hope you're good.
Mickey.
Nice wave there, Mickey Boy. That's who built my display tank, Don. Unfortunately, it's still stuck together. Touch wood.
He built mine.
I know he's very good at
8
building
foot by 8
tanks.
foot, Dom.
Yes,
Yeah.
he's good. Just I had a beard at the end of it when it got delivered. Hopefully that doesn't happen often. Lee's here as well. Good evening. Hope you're good.
Lee.
Good evening.
Here we are. Oh God, yeah. Moving on.
Oh.
He's just passed his. He's just got his 20-meter swimming badge this week. I think.
Mr. Drippy.
Yeah.
Maybe
Doing
as
his
Drippy, has your mum sewed it to your little towel as well?
Yeah. Right, who else we got in here? Prime Corals, good evening. Nice to see you. Thanks for the support. K13, good evening. Afternoon from CA.
Hello.
There you go.
Is that California or Canada?
I'm assuming it's California. down west. Evening, chaps. I freaking love Dong.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Evening,
There we go. Tony Close Reef as well.
Hello.
Hello. James is with us.
Hi.
Rob's been woken up in the old folks'
Hey.
home.
Hello.
Put the dominoes
Hello.
down for a minute. Timothy's with us as well. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Yarek,
Hello.
hello. Nice
Lots
to
of
see you,
people
mate.
tonight.
Hope you're good. Elisa, sa, and we are
Elisa.
about there. Okay.
Okay.
As always, if anybody joins us, I will try and make a conscious effort to give you a shout out. Okay. And yes.
Get all your
happy
likes in.
Start to get boring, the same boring face when we're having a week off time. Won't you? Well, yes, thank you very much. With
Oh.
you too. Goodbye. Just banned him. No, I'm joking. So, Don, you came up
Yeah.
with this week's sort of subject, should I say, or suggested topic of
Yeah.
conversation: skimmers. Okay. Is this going to be a sexy conversation about skimmers, or is it going to be a scientific conversation about skimmers, or a bit of both?
Probably none of this.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the title you suggested was to skim or not to skim. That is the
Yeah.
question.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So again, audience participation as always. We've got Mo obviously and Jamie as well going to get involved. So please jump in at any point and ask whatever you want to Dong as we go along. But shall I roll slide?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
All
Over
right.
to you then.
So you see this? Say hello to my little friend. This actually is a skimmer.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So what you do is that you skim the protein on top of your soap, like all this foam just skimming out. So this actually is a skimmer. Okay, so let's go back to the slides. Okay, to skim or not to skim. Next slide, please. Okay, so this is a photo that whenever people talk about skimmer, they will have this type of photo showing you on the beach. So with all this foam sloshing around, well, this photo is sort of relevant to skimmer, but may not be totally relevant to the coral. First of all, and this kind of effect on the beach that you can see is because of the salt water has sodium chloride, basically 85%. The salt is sodium chloride. So in the water, so the surface tension of the water become significantly increased. That's why you can see all this foam the protein being squeezed out of the water column. But the reason I say this is not really relevant to our coral is because down in the coral reef, there's no skimmer effect over there to clean the water. So how the coral get clean water? Wait for it. Water change.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, on the coral reef, it's like 100% water change every second. There's no skimmer there. So the skimming effect only happen on the surface of the ocean. So it's not the primary way or is in any form or factor to clean the ocean. So that's why you give us one thing to think about. Whatever in our tank is not an ocean. It's not even mimicking an ocean. It's an entirely different thing. So the protein skimmer actually is very artificial equipment that we introduce into our hobby. So it's nowhere near what the nature will do. But the salt water, the strong surface tension actually give us the possibility to have a tool that is useful for our little captive environment for the coral and fish. So it has nothing to do with the nature, nothing to do with how the ocean clean the water at all. So let's go to the next slide, please. So how it works is basically when you have sodium chloride, like the salt is 85% sodium chloride. When we have salt in the water, the surface tension of the water then we increase. So that's how that's a fundamental science behind the skimmer. So let's spend the next 24 hours talk about how the science works. Probably not. Okay, so but it works. That's all it matters. Let's go to the next slide, please. So long ago, far away in Deutschland. Is that what it is? Deutschland? Dutch?
Yeah.
German? Yeah. Okay.
Germany. Yeah.
So a company called Toons, right?
Yeah, you've been practicing this, Don. Well done.
Yeah, practicing.
better.
Toons. So Toons invented the first skimmer. So we can see on the left-hand side of the photo, it's not really a photo, it's a sketch of the original skimmer concept, the part of the skimmer. It looks so strange to us now because that it is very strange. But back then, when you look at it, it's nothing resemble the skimmer we have today. And on the right-hand side, actually is a photo of a recreation of the first Toons skimmer that on some kind of reef show. So, but the fundamental principle is the same. So you have a pump draw in air and basically inject the bubble into a chamber, and then the bubble rise up and produce the skim. So next slide, please. Okay. So the skimmer, actually, we can find out from this day from nano skimmer, the little lily pipe skimmer, up to this commercial gigantic monster of the same.
Yeah.
So, but all the skimmer are performing using the same principle. Basically, just mix the bubble with water and let the bubble rise, and then those organic material will adhere to the bubble, and then they collect it on the surface of on the top of the skimmer, and just being collected and discard. So exactly like this. So we just skim out the top layer and discard it, but do it in an automatic fashion. So next slide, please.
Sorry, Don. Jamie, do you want to explain to everybody why? Jamie, do you want to explain to everybody why you just rudely just left the show?
Yeah, sorry about that. I've been home alone all night, and I locked the front door and forgot that my wife had to come home, and she was locked out on the driveway. So, oops.
So you're not alone anymore.
No, but I'm in trouble.
Okay, thanks, Don.
All right. So there's a major type of skimmer in this hobby, and the two major types still exist today. One on the left-hand side is something called a Venturi skimmer. So you use a little device in that red circle to mix air and water, and you use an external pump to push a huge amount of water through that device and generate bubble. And the more common skimmer type is the needle wheel skimmer. We can see on the right-hand side. So it's basically using a pinwheel and basically whip all the air that coming into the chamber into micro bubbles and eject it out. So that's a two major type. So ever since the needle wheel skimmer come to the market, and there is a lot of people actually no longer use the Venturi skimmer. The reason for that is that the Venturi skimmer is really loud because you need a huge pump to push a lot of water volume through that little device to generate fine bubbles. So, and go ahead.
I was just wondering what was in your hand, Don. Was it? It's not a hairbrush, is it?
That's a needle wheel.
Okay.
That is how this needle wheel skimmer do its magic. That's what it is. So let's
Did
go
you
to
hear
the
about
next
the
slide.
brush wheel? Do you know about the brush wheel, Dom?
Oh, the brush wheel. What exactly is it?
So back in the day, there was, I can't remember. So there was a theory that the smaller your bubbles, the more likely you are to attract more protein. So you get more efficiency if you have smaller bubbles. And so people would change.
Hence bubble scrubbing. No.
No.
You mean a
So
mesh
were-
wheel?
Yeah. So the mesh wheel.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
Okay.
the mesh wheel. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So they were taking cutting the needles off the needle wheel and putting mesh on it, and the mesh is giving finer bubbles.
Yes.
But
for matter of fact, I have one that's sitting in my closet that I make it myself. It basically using those plastic mesh and just cover the top. Yeah. That
Makes
works
sense,
well.
right?
Yeah, it makes
Smaller
sense.
bubbles.
For a short while.
Area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly that. So tiny bubbles, more protein extraction, but the it doesn't last very long. So needle wheels obviously more robust, they last longer. So I think
for matter of fact, I saw a company is making a 3D printed mesh wheel. Yeah, so basically it is similar to this thing, but it has a flat cover on top with tiny holes around that. Some kind of weird thing that it just looked like a 3D printed mesh. So I saw that on YouTube, and you can buy one of this. And for matter of fact, that you can hammer out this thing and the needle wheel and replace with a 3D printed mesh wheel. So how well it does, I don't know, because I haven't personally tried it yet.
I would assume there's a sweet spot, right, between improved efficiency and then much more maintenance to keep it clean, because that's just going to trap anything as well, isn't it?
Yes, so, and also that is the availability. So, for example, if your needle wheel broke, and then you have to go buy a 3D printed wheel, and probably take you several days to ship it over. So what I do is that I have a boxes full of this kind of thing sitting around, just in case it breaks. So because it's commercial available, it's inexpensive. So that is something to consider.
You're talking about contraption then that could make something technically a little bit more efficient, but would increase the amount or the frequency of husbandry. Yeah, in essence. What is your take on husbandry of a skimmer? How often do you think people should be cleaning them, looking after it?
Actually, that's something that I want to talk about when we talk about the AC versus DC skimmer.
Okay.
Yeah, the maintenance can be dramatically different.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll put a lid on that.
Yeah,
Let's
we talk about that.
Okay. Next slide.
All right. So this is the needle wheel concept. So basically, every pump can be a skimmer pump. So that is a regular propeller. So you can see that this is the whole thing is whipping the water around and eject it.
Looks like a jet bow.
Yeah, it's a J bow. Yeah, because I have a lot of this, so I can bring some to show you guys. So that's the difference. So this one actually works really poorly as a skimmer pump. You can clearly see that the bubble is not being chopped up at all. So for matter of fact, when you put this one on the same pump, you don't get much bubble at all. But that's a same propeller, just with a needle wheel, and the result is day and night different by chopping bubbles. So that is the difference. That's where the magic happens, is on that needle wheel. I think that the first time, the first commercial skimmer is from, I forget the brand. So, forget about it.
You've not done your homework for Friday night.
Yeah, because that is so much homework, and my brain just fried by the homework. Okay, so ASM, I think that's what they call. Then when they hit on the market, and then the needle wheel just take the market like a storm, and everybody is using needle wheel. And by the way, there's no patent for needle wheel.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, there's no patent for it. And there's all sorts of design. The people actually putting the mesh, just like Mo was talking about earlier, and in the early days of this needle wheel skimmer design, there's so many do-it-yourself. and people are come up with all sort of things. And some people even wrap some kind of those mesh bag that you put carbon in. Yeah, people can just wrap that thing and rubber band it. It works.
Wow.
Think about it. You just cover the propeller with that mesh bag and rubber band that mesh bag on this. It works well.
Intrinsic Reef agreeing with you. ASM is what I remember as well.
Yeah.
Tez is saying Deltec. Now, Deltec, the first Deltec skimmer I had, I can't say this use this term, but I didn't know you should have the red rod to take the impeller out. So I pulled it out with pliers, and it just snapped in my hands because I didn't know you were meant to have the red rod to unscrew the thread and pull it out. But lesson learned. I'm sure somebody. I'm hoping I'm not the only idiot to have done that before. Moving on.
So, for matter of fact, that for this kind of propeller, the less expensive propeller, they use high pressure to press this in. So there's so many heartbroken story about when people take this thing off or try to modify it and put a needle wheel on. And for example, like J-bow pump, if you break this thing, you need to get a new pump. There is no spare part.
Yeah.
Wow, but back then, there is so many creativity in this hobby. Actually, that's really memorable. Back then, the people say, "Oh yeah, I found out I can do this, and it really skims well." And then somebody said, "Oh, I do that," or something like that. So it's very exciting back then. So next slide, please.
Just before I do, sorry, quick question from Timothy Wakefield Reef. Dong, do you think running a skimmer helps with dissolved oxygen within the tank?
Oh yes, it does. It does. It basically, the idea about air exchange is happen on the water surface. So when you have a skimmer, you're basically creating a gigantic water surface by creating all these bubbles. So it does enrich the oxygen level in the tank. So actually, that is one of the major good thing that skimmer does to our tank, is to make sure the oxygen is saturated.
Joe, we've come such a long way on skimmers. I remember 20 years ago when I was dipping my toe in reef keeping. The only skimmers you could pretty much get your hand on were those old horrible sort of hang on the back type designs. Prisms and Aquamedic, that sort of stuff. And,
yes.
And they never had needle wheels.
I had a TMC one.
Nice. But they would take a week, maybe 2 weeks to even get enough skimmate to warrant emptying the cup. They were really inefficient. They were terrible. And now, even something as simple as a needle wheel impeller has just made the efficiency like so much better for something so simple. It's like, why didn't I think of that?
Yeah, I still have several dead skimmer bodies sitting in the closet, including those kind of like the Coral Life Super Skimmer, Cyclone. Remember those things with a little maxi jet? Cyclone, and
you had to have the big ugly pump sat in your tank with a hose connected it on.
And there is another skimmer I think it works quite well, is the Remora, is the Aqua Sea Remora as a hang on the back. Oh, by the way, that the Woodstone skimmer, for matter of fact, some of the nano tanks still using that technology. Very simple, a simple air pump, hook up to the Woodstone and put in a soda bottle, and it works. Soda bottle, literally. So if you prefer Pepsi, you just cut the Pepsi. Or you prefer Coke? Okay, so there is some unique design on the market these days, and on the left-hand side is the mass spec skimmer. So it has two pumps, basically one pump but two inlet. So it basically double the air intake of normally a single pump does. So that's a very unique design. I think that design is coming from their gyre. Think about it. When a gyre pump, the motor, and with two propeller on the side, so they use the same idea on a skimmer. But this skimmer is not very popular for some reason. I don't know why, but it's a very good design in my personal opinion. But I don't actually. I never see one in real life that actually installed in anybody's tank. But it's there. It's a good concept. I have no idea why this thing is not as popular as it
Well,
should be.
Your biggest fan, Dong, sorry to put in there, your biggest fan ever, who will probably turn up at your house one day, he actually runs one.
Oh, really? Oh, how do you like it? So maybe I should talk to him. So
he'll tell you next week when you're making up the
Okay.
camp bed in the spare room. Yeah.
All right. So
Okay.
I want to mention that there is the skimmer on the right hand side is called the open volute. Is that how you pronounce it? Volute?
I'll go with that.
I'll go with that. Yeah.
Yeah. I do have no idea why they call it that way. It's basically your skimmer pump is pointing downward. It's sucking water from the bottom. Theoretically, you can make a more compact skimmer because that when you have the pump sideways and your body have to be bigger to accommodate that pump. But when you this way, and then it probably is you can put a larger pump into a smaller skimmer body. I actually run the ice cap version of this skimmer. For matter of fact, it's quite amazing about the fine bubble this thing generates. I have no idea why it called like that, but it does works really, really well. And it generates a really, really fine bubble. So that is another design I think it should be more popular. Okay, so of course
I've never seen them. I've never
Yeah.
seen that. So you recommend that?
Oh,
then?
really?
Right. Okay.
Yeah. There is the reef octopus, the more premium one, the more expensive one, as well as there is ice cap version, ice cap by Coral Wheel, and those things skimmer actually, well, if you can get your hand on one, I would think that is much better skimmer than the traditional design when the pump sideways. I have no idea why it skim better, but in reality, it does skim better. It's quite
Does
amazing.
it just take more rubbish out of the base of the sump?
Probably not. I think is that it could be the pump is bigger than other skimmer. That's my impression. Is it's pretty gigantic pump that can fit into tiny body. So in your sump that you can fit a smaller sump, and then the amount of bubble you generate is so fine, so it's very powerful. And by the way, and one of my customer actually get one of these, the ice cap version, put in her sump. It generates skim mate day one, putting out nasty stuff. Start from day one. Yeah, it's really, really good design. So
Just out of curiosity, then, what's everybody running then? And please, in the viewers watching at home, chuck it in the comments. Tell us what skimmers you, not necessarily what model, but brands. What you're running in the farm then, Don? What skimmers you running?
I run the. Actually, I have rebreather skimmer. I'm going to talk about it, why I like it later on. And I have the older coral box skimmer. Basically, is the precursor of the rebreather skimmer. The reason I run the coral box skimmer, cheap, effective, inexpensive, a lot of spare part that I can get. So also I run the ice cap, the open volute skimmer. So that basically that's the type of skimmer. I try other skimmer as well. I have external skimmer. I have the bubble maggot skimmer. I have the Red Sea. I have, well, for the past 20 years, I run all sorts of skimmer. So including some external big boy, the reef octopus, the external one. And I used to have a reef octopus 8,000 super reef octopus. And that is a big, gigantic thing.
Wow.
So I run a lot of skimmer before.
Jamie, what you're running at the minute in there? What you got on those tanks?
On the big one behind me, I've got the Deltec 1500. And on my other system, I've got a Reef Octopus 150i, 150s, I think it is, all right. I really like the Reef Octopus just because the cup capacity is quite big for the size of the skimmer. and it's got a really small footprint. It's not conical. It doesn't go up like that. It's a straight cylinder, massive cup capacity, and it's very, very easy to tune in and adjust. I'm a real big fan of the Reef Octopus. It's the second one I've had. I've stuck with them. And the Deltec, pretty much, I got that because I never thought I'd say it, but it was really, really good value for money compared to other skimmers on the market. Deltec historically has been sort of premium, but looking at skimmers that can do 1,500 litres or whatever it is, it was really good value. And I went with it because of the name of Deltec, and it's doing a good job. Yeah, doing a good job.
Yeah.
On,
I
Mo.
used to also run a Niles skimmer too. Well, that Niles skimmer, actually, I like to look at the Niles skimmer outside of the water instead of running it. Because the Niles skimmer, you build like an art. So I just keep looking at it. Wow.
Yeah. To be fair to Niles, when they came in, they did look very sexy. The skimmers that they brought out on the market, it's very good. Mo, what you running down in Leicester at the minute? Then dare I ask?
I've got Royal Exclusive Bubble King 500 internal.
Oh, you show off!
But I modified it.
Okay.
I've got 2 Abiz A400 pumps on it with their needle wheels.
Oh my goodness!
Oh,
oh.
It's called it's the shit. Put it that way.
What are your 6 numbers, Mo? Let me just write them down.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, that sounds decent. Yeah, decent.
It's amazing. So
So you got a titanium propeller?
Absolutely, yeah. But they do their own needle wheel conversion, and then you get the clear volley on the front, so you can see the bubbles. But it's it's a DC pump. You can control it. You turn it up or down. It just adds lots of things. So if I want to skim less, I just turn the pumps down a bit.
And Mo, this is exactly what you told your wife before you shelled out the money. Yeah?
No,
this was the
listening.
justification. Oh, sorry. Sorry, Mrs. Magic. Sorry. Moving on.
So I assume that is a titanium needle wheel.
No, the needle wheels. It's plastic, whatever. It's not. It's just it's like the needle wheel you showed, but obviously the rest of the stem of it, whatever it's called, is titanium. But no, they don't make a titanium needle wheel. Not
I
yet,
wish
anyway.
they do.
You're probably just giving him the idea.
Oh yeah, they should.
But it's really well built. It's amazing. I had the Red Dragons, Tom's favorite pumps.
Yeah.
They do DC pumps, so it came with the Red Dragons, and they're actually smaller and said they were more efficient. And then I can't remember, it needed a clean and something. I thought, I had a spare Abiz, it was my spare pump. So I thought, let me just try this. And I put one Abiz, so 2 pumps on the skimmer that it came with, and 1 pump, 50%, out skimmed the 2 pumps on max. And so it was just next level. And now I run the pumps at about 50% each, but I can turn them up, down, depends on how much skim I want. And it's just dark and thick.
Am I right? Amazing. Am I right in saying that the Red Dragon skimmer, does that run on an AC pump?
So it used to. So they've changed the pumps now. So what they did, basically I had the old Bubble King 500 external, and I ran it as an internal in my old tank, and that had the AC pumps with the Laguna body on it. So you could actually just go to the garden centre and buy a Laguna body and slap it on, and it would be fine. So
that's the one that blew up for me last year in the garage.
Yeah, but it's about £100, I think, maybe even 80 quid, and you buy a max flow pump and change it, and it's easy. And those AC pumps are decent, but they were AC pumps, so every so often the cable breaks when you put them in your sump.
Yeah.
And then you've got to be careful about leaking current and copper and the rest of it. Yeah. So this time when I asked for the same, so I got the actual internal, but because I had the Royal Exclusive sump and it had the filter wheel on it, they reduced the size of the skimmer. So when I asked for a Bubble King 500, it came smaller. And then they said, oh, well, the DC pumps and the smaller body is much more efficient. And they were right. It was better than my old Bubble King 500, a bit smaller. But with the Abiz modification, I've never seen anything like it. It's absolutely amazing. So that's all I run now. I took the fleece off, and I just run the skimmer. I do run a few other reactors to adjust nutrients and stuff, but the skimmer just works a treat for me. So that's what I use.
Nice. So
Mo just likes buying stuff, Don.
No, it sounds like Don likes to buy stuff. He's got like 12 skimmers.
Yep, I buy a lot of stuff.
Oh dear. Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
actually, if a beast is watching,
You're not
this
going to
may
watch
give
this
them some.
channel, Dong.
No,
Oh, he
I
does,
don't
he
think they
does.
do, right? So
he
that,
does.
but there is a reason to have a titanium needle wheel.
Yeah.
There's a
I'll
reason.
mention it to Alex. I'll text him in a minute.
Yeah, look at this needle wheel. Okay, if you, Tom, you can. Yep. And now look. Oh, wrong one. And
Oh.
look at this needle wheel. Okay, this is 2 years old. This is a brand new one.
The same one? Same
Yeah,
version?
same
Just
model.
worn out a bit.
Yep, this
Yeah.
one 2 years it worn out quite a bit. You can see that,
Yeah.
and then the performance dropped dramatically. So needle wheel does worn out.
Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't checked
That's-
mine.
that's
So-
dramatic.
I'll open it one day and have a look, see if it's worn as well.
So
But mine
that's
is the
why I
good
keep
version.
replacing the needle wheel.
Yeah, good shout.
So every 2 years, a new needle wheel goes in and take out the old one. So you can see. So that is the reason to
Yeah.
have a titanium.
That is
Needle wheel.
eye-opening because
Alex,
that's-
get on it.
I never thought of that. And also the fact is, when I open up mine and look at it, I haven't got a new one to compare it to, so I wouldn't even notice that.
Yeah,
wear
you
on
wouldn't
it.
notice that
Yeah.
it's degrading like that. Yeah. Or
The
getting
fact that
warm.
you've just shown that is actually quite eye-opening. I
Yeah.
think a lot of people could probably go and improve their Skim collection a
Yep.
hell of a lot by.
Actually,
Visually
although my
colour.
old Royal exclusive, I ran it for how long? 10 years, and I've still got the pumps on it, and the needle wheels are fine actually on that. That's a Royal
Yeah.
exclusive one. So hopefully
Don't,
the
don't
Abyss
jinx
one's
me,
all right.
but my
I know,
Royal exclusive
I
in
know.
the DT's all right.
Yeah,
Touch
yeah,
wood.
yeah. We're all going to
Touch
go out
wood.
and have a look now.
No,
See what
touch
Skimmer's
wood.
pump
But
apart.
yeah, Dong, sorry, back on screen. Show us again. Show us the comparison,
Oh, okay.
please.
Old one, new one. You can see the difference is quite dramatic.
Yeah, definitely.
It really is.
Yeah. Definitely. You see, if you look from the side,
Yeah.
it's definitely wear out. All the plastic will wear out. Especially, remember that for the ship propeller, for those big boat, and then
Yeah.
they wear out too. The propeller actually needs some special material because when you're heating all the bubble, there's some sort of thing going on the surface that actually will tear the material out by this
Yeah.
bubble. So
Wow.
I
It'll
read
be
it somewhere
plastic
about a
goes-
submarine.
It'll be the high
Plastic goes
level.
into your reef tank.
Yeah, it'll be
Like
the
in the
high
ocean.
level of TDS, so the dissolved solids that erode that away. We see that on industrial pumps and things that they get eroded by a dissolved solid. So that's probably the same thing. Mo's just hit the nail on the head though. That opens up the conversation to microplastic contamination in the tank as well.
Yeah, I say you go inside the fish gut.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
it's gone somewhere, but I suppose over the
Yeah.
course of 2 years, it's minimal, isn't it? It's not a lot, but
Mm.
That's the secret to acro coloration, I'm sure.
Yeah. Next slide, Dong.
Yep.
Back to
Okay,
you.
next slide. Yep, next slide. So there's external versus internal skimmer. So the external one basically is sitting outside of your sump and use a dedicated pump to push the water into the skimmer, and then the bubbler pump on the skimmer is only doing its job to generate bubble. It's not doing the job to push water through. So I've been using external skimmer for years, and I did not find anything special about them. They require one extra pump. It costs a double electricity. And then when you have your skimmer sitting outside, the skimmer design becomes so tricky. What happened when the skimmer overflow? You
It's
end
gonna
up
be
on your floor.
outside. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Outside.
you
the
end
tank.
up on the
Yeah.
floor. So that is the reason I back then, well, even now, I have a sharp vac always ready to clean up the mess. So after years of dealing with external skimmer, I give up. Now everything is internal right now. So there is not that much a benefit of an external skimmer, except that on paper or advertisement for manufacturer, it seems to be much better. I like the recirculating skimmer. But
But it's
in
about the
reality,
footprint, though,
it's
isn't
really
it, as
not-
well? It's the footprint for people.
Yeah.
People are bothered about the footprint of a skimmer in a sump. If they don't
So
have space.
normally external skimmer is pretty large. So
Yeah.
if you need a skimmer that large, you probably have a big sump.
Agreed.
But they're also very high, and you might not get the height. So then they also tend to
That's
be done
true,
external,
yeah.
don't they?
Yeah.
A
So
lot of
you-
people
you-
I know that run an external skimmer will have them sat in like a trough or a plant tray or something, just in case they overflow.
Or
I
on top of
suppose
an
the
egg crate into a sump, almost.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah.
I suppose the benefit of that is having them in like a tray outside. Is if they do overflow, at least all that stuff doesn't go back into your tank. It's still out. But if you haven't got
Yeah.
it, in a tray or a collection vessel, there's your cabinet knackered or there's your floor knackered, isn't it? It's crap everywhere. So I've never ran one personally. I don't see for myself anything I would benefit from having an external skimmer.
No.
I think they're very comparable in terms of skimming out nasty stuff. So, well, my personal preference is that if I can fit the skimmer in a sump, I will let it sit in a sump. Because any extra equipment, extra connection, extra pump, it creates an extra point of failure.
Yes.
Yeah.
I want everything to be as simple as possible.
We like simple.
I don't even want 2 feet of extra length of tubing. I want everything as simple, as easy. Yeah.
Have you ever run an
Okay.
external skimmer, Mo? Ever used one?
Oh yeah, my last tank. So I had an external skimmer, put it in the sump. So I don't know if you know the Royal exclusive models. Basically, it was secondhand when I bought it, right? So I bought it secondhand, and it was because it was a Bubble King. That's the one I want, so I might as well buy it. And it was the external version, but actually it comes on a platform, and then it has an external pump feed. But otherwise, it's got the same pumps as the internal one.
Yes.
And the difference is you drill a hole in the platform because it's like an elevated platform, but you drill a hole in the platform and it's only air that makes it float. So if you put an external skimmer in the sump, it floats. Except if you put a little tiny hole in the platform, the air finds its way out and it sinks. And so that's what I did.
What did you lose in value for drilling that hole in that base?
To be honest, I actually bought it secondhand, and the person I bought it from was shouting that it's an 11-foot tank, and he was running it internally. So he did it for me, and I just thought it was a great idea. Yeah, did it for me. It's a tiny hole, like a millimeter, and that was all it took, and it drained the air out. You unless I pointed it out, you wouldn't notice it.
So you basically have a recirculating skimmer.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, in terms of recirculating, think about this way: is that the whole system, the whole reef tank that we have, a closed system. The water keep coming back and back and back. Does it really matter that you're recirculating inside the skimmer body or the hose, because all the water molecule is coming back? It's not a single pass. So probably that is why I do not see much of a difference between the recirculating version versus the non-recirculating version. So they both do a very good job.
As long as it gets exposed to dirty water, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. Okay. So now we talk about to skim. Not to skim. So there's a study back in 2009. They test a bunch of different skimmer. I believe there's a Deltec in there too. Because that represents some of the more expensive skimmers. What they did is put cow serum into the water so they can measure cow serum. Basically
serum. Okay.
Serum. Yeah.
Ron would be all over that. He's chuckling right now if he's watching this.
But butter from the bone marrow.
I was expecting to fire off a message, but I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
Cool.
So
come on, Ron.
We're clear now. Right? Cow serum.
Yeah. So they can analyze how much this kind of fat still in the water after they use a skimmer. So what happened is that they have several conclusions. One conclusion is that the price does not represent the efficiency. So you pay more money, you don't get more.
Yeah.
And second thing,
send mine back then.
Oh no! That is back in 2009. So I believe that things actually changed quite a bit. But think about it: if you get a titanium propeller.
Yeah, Alex, listen.
So the other important thing they found out is they only remove about 20 to 30% at best.
Okay.
So there's other paper to talk about the skimmer efficiency. For matter of fact, fish farming, people use skimmer. So they do care about the skimmer efficiency, how efficient it remove the fish waste. So I saw some YouTube video saying that, oh, the modern skimmer can remove about 30 to 90%. Stop it right there. That 90% is total BS. Okay. So basically, if you can, at the best scenario, if you can remove about 30 to 40%, that is the maximum you can pull out from the water. So then with that said, let's go to the next slide, please. Okay. Skimmer choose or miss. We already talked about the first one. Does a more expensive skimmer perform better? Absolutely not. That has been proven over and over again for decades. So you spend more money does not mean you get a better skimmer. So keep that in mind. So the second question is, can a skimmer starve a coral by removing too much organic material? This is something floating on the internet all the time. Oh, I only turn on my skimmer for several hours a day because I'm afraid that it will overskim and rob the food out of the coral. Hell no, it doesn't happen in reality. You cannot overskim your water at all. Because
but what about feeding the tank? But what about feeding the tank with things like phyto or other feeds or medication, and leaving it on?
That's what. Yep, good question. So that's why we talk about does a skimmer actually remove all this ammonia, nitrate, and phosphate, right? It does not remove ammonia, nitrate, and phosphate. And for matter of fact, depends on what kind of medication. So if your medication are small molecule that highly soluble in water, no, the skimmer does not remove it. So if the medication is some kind of greasy, like chemiclean, yes. Yeah, the skimmer chemiclean actually is a very big molecule, greasy big balls of molecule. So that skimmer can remove it. But does it remove bacteria? When you pour in your bacteria? Yes, for sure. Skimmer does remove bacteria. And that actually is the fundamentals idea behind the carbon dosing. Because that carbon dosing is relying on the skimmer to remove excess bacteria that overgrown after you put your carbon source in there.
Yeah.
So does it remove cocopod? Yes, it does, but not in a very large amount. So there is a difference.
Not aggressive.
Yeah, there's a difference between live cocopod versus dead cocopod. Their physical property are different. So some people said that the skimmer is quite effectively removing those dead ones. So I don't know. It just from the grapevine. So
do dead ones float and live ones don't? Is that the difference?
I don't know. I think that well, if you use a phytoplankton powder, yeah, that probably float. That probably get easily removed. But if you use a dead phytoplankton preparation that already in the water, I don't know, because they just disperse in the water. So somebody told me that the dead one is easier to remove than live one. I don't know. So well, but it sort of makes sense. So
Live
the skimmer
the
remove.
other way, that's why.
Yeah, but it really doesn't matter that much to me. So that's when you dose phytoplankton, when you dose cocopod, yeah, if you want to turn off your skimmer, it doesn't hurt. If you don't do it, when I dose mine, I'm too lazy, so I don't even touch the skimmer. So I still pour it in. I can see that the skimmer has some green tint in it. Yeah, it does remove some of that, but majority of them is still floating in the water, get consumed by coral.
Right. Okay.
So does skimmer remove cocopod? Yes, it does. It actually, There's a scientific study done on that. So people actually take out the skim mate, analyze it. There's quite a bit of dead cocoa pod inside. And that bacterial, that cocoa pod, all that kind of floaties.
Okay,
Plus
so
the
when,
phytoplankton.
so
Yeah.
throwing it back at you for a second then, Don, when
Mhm.
should people turn a skimmer off then? Other than
I
maintenance?
think that when you dose medication, it's much better to turn the skimmer off. The reason for that, for example, if you have a fish-only tank, like QT tank, you want to dose copper into the QT tank. At the same time, you're so generous to provide the QT tank a skimmer. Most people does not. At that time, I would say you should turn off the skimmer. The reason for that is not the skimmer can remove the copper, because the skimmer is really not effectively remove the copper. But for all the saltwater medication, copper medication, they have organic molecule in there to latch on the copper, so to allow the copper to stay in the salt water longer. Then the skimmer can remove that organic organic compound that complex to the copper. And there's a many natural product-based medication for fish, and they are quite greasy. So your skimmer definitely can remove that. Antibiotic, does it remove Cipro? I don't know. Probably not that effective because Cipro is a relatively small molecule. So yeah.
What about
But
things
I-
like
no,
Interceptor and other
Go on, Mark.
drugs?
Go ahead.
What about things like Interceptor and other drugs? Will the skimmer remove it?
Interceptor, I will turn my skimmer off. Those are
Most people
interceptor.
do, but does it
Yeah.
actually remove it?
I don't know. I cannot answer
So
that question because
If you dose Interceptor and put your skimmer back on, if you notice that the skimmer automatically overflows. Do you see that? So
that is because of the dead stuff that after the
okay. So your
red bug,
pods and
yeah,
whatnot.
they die and they release quite a bit of organic material, and those organic material get removed by the skimmer. But here's one interesting thing that you just mentioned. So some people use the interceptor for their puppy,
Yeah.
and those interceptor pill, they crush it up. But in those pill, there are tons of organic material in there to make the puppy to eat that pill.
Yeah. Oh, that's a different one. But you
flavorful.
can get the one Interceptor for dogs that's not flavored.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not in here though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Don, a couple of questions from the audience.
Yep.
So Terry's asking, so if a skimmer only takes out 20 to 30%, can you increase its normal speed and bubble production to get more percentage?
Very good question. So when you increase the speed, so you of the propeller.
Yeah.
Well, of course, that assuming your airflow going there is matching to the higher speed, you got finer powder. You get better bubble production. But the problem is that skimmers are very selective for what types of molecule you remove. And also, think about this way is that you probably get about a few percentage more, but majority of the organic material is still in there. But there's a different thing is that if your skimmer tower is 2-story high, that's a different story. It definitely increase the efficiency of your skimmer. Because that the previous study are done on this hobby grade skimmer, they're all about 24-inch tall. So that's why that they only remove about like 20-30%. But if your skimmer is probably 10-meter high, it definitely remove more material out of that. But it probably will never pass the 50% mark.
Okay.
There's all sorts of physical properties.
Why does it do it if it's taller?
Longer contact time.
Because the contact time.
Yeah, contact time.
It's got further up to get into the cup.
Well, but you have a much bigger pump. So think about this way is that your pump is like pumping like several hundred gallons per hour.
Yeah.
So even you have a 10 feet tall, so the recirculation, the water movement inside is still quite strong.
If you had that same pump on a shorter skimmer, you might skim out more.
So you mean the
Because you're saying that you got a
generate
smaller
less
skimmer,
bubble?
you need a bigger pump to generate the bubbles that'll go.
Yes,
further up.
yep. You get a bigger pump
Then-
for a taller skimmer.
So you have a smaller pump on a shorter skimmer, but it might
Mm-hmm.
be the pump that's the difference, not the height of the skimmer.
I think it's like the distance the bubbles have to travel. They've got more time to react.
Yes,
and
it's a
attract.
time to travel.
No, I understand that, but you need a certain amount of effort to get it up and over. Gravity's going to pull them down still. So to go, 2 meters up in the air, that's a lot of effort for a skimmer to do. So I can't imagine that all the waste is going to reach that high. In the shorter skimmer, it's easier for the waste to get into the
This would make a really good game. This challenge Dong.
yeah.
If you're
Yeah,
putting
so
air in though,
I don't know the answer, but I'm just
Go on, Jamie. Go on, Jamie. Sorry, go on.
So, I don't know if the pump size makes a massive difference. You obviously want to put a lot more air in, but if you're putting air in at the base and it's got further to travel, there's no extra energy required because air does its thing. It naturally goes, right? You haven't got to pump it up.
No, but it's got to take matter with it.
Yeah, and
So
the matter
that's
that
why
matters.
you can put a skimmer extension neck on a skimmer to make the skimmer taller. And
That's the only reason why we brought.
performance.
That's the only reason why I invited Mo on, Dong, just to antagonize you.
That's a good idea. And also, by the way, like Mo said, if your skimmer is shorter and you use a less powerful pump, so that means that there's a more contact time for that for the bubble, but a less powerful pump will draw in less air.
Okay.
So so I think by the
Put
end
a
of
more
the day,
powerful
you're probably
pump on a
looking
shorter skimmer.
similar.
Perhaps next time you're both on together, you should try it out live to see who can get it
Yes.
the furthest.
Yep.
That'd be quite good. Bit of blue
So I'm
pizza.
going to build a 10-foot tall skimmer. Then I'm going to sleep in the
Oh,
garage
dear.
for 2 days.
Yeah.
There's a couple more questions, Dong, on the back before we move on to the
okay.
next slide. Peter Parry was
Yeah.
asking, but doesn't the bacteria feed the corals that we're taking out with the skimmer?
Yes. Good question. So yes, the bacteria feed the coral, but on the other hand, the skimmer only can take out a small percentage of bacteria. It does take out bacteria, but it does not take out a lot of them. And also remember, in our reef tank, it's a bacterial soup.
Yeah,
So
we've got good and bad.
so
haven't we?
much bacteria, you cannot even over skim your bacteria out. So there is. I read a literature that's saying that in 1 milliliter of seawater, there are how many million, a billion bacteria in there. And also bacteria is highly productive. Like 4 hour, 8 hour, they double the size of the colony. So I would never worry about the skimmer take out too much bacteria. So, but you take out bacteria, but it's not up to the point that will impact the coral health. Because there's so much bacteria. Basically, coral is surrounding with several buffet stores. There's more than they can
everywhere.
eat.
Yeah.
It's everywhere.
It's everywhere.
Yeah.
So it's just
Yeah.
going to regenerate anyway.
A few
Okay.
people saying that they agree with you, Mo. A few people saying it's a dong swinging contest.
Dong
Thanks,
always
Jay.
wins.
Nice to see you.
What was that
and
game?
also-
Dong wins.
Dong
What's
wins.
that game?
And there was also
No,
a
there's no win or
question
lose in here.
in
It's
here.
all open discussion.
John was saying wet or dry skim, which we shall come to shortly.
Yeah, we shall come to
presentation.
shortly.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Moving
Okay.
on. Over to you.
Oh yeah. So when a skimmer is a good investment, that means that when do you need a skimmer? Okay. So if you have a tank that larger than a nano, that make water change a little bit more challenging, or you do not want to do much water change, then the skimmer is a good investment. But nano tank is always a problem for nano skimmer, because that when the skimmer is tiny, there's just not enough contact time inside that tiny chamber. They never be very effective. So when you put a nano skimmer on a nano tank, does it help? Yes, it does. But does it give you more benefit than just change out a large percent of water? No, I will change out water. For example, like a 10-liter nano tank. If you change out 2 liter, it's so simple. You get a scoop in there, use your wife's favorite Tupperware, go in there and scoop the water out and refill it, and you're all set. And during this, if you change 20% of a nano tank, you probably achieve the goal of your tiny skimmer that work for several days.
Just while you're
Yes.
talking percentages,
Yeah.
sorry, quickly, just while you're talking percentages about water change, what do you believe is the maximum percentage somebody should be doing and how frequent? I know we're talking about skimmers, but
Oh,
you've touched on it.
Yeah, the water change.
What,
Yes.
what do you think?
Let me give you one interesting story. I
Okay,
have a
we
friend.
love a story. Yeah.
Yep. He had 2-gallon tank, a tiny 2-gallon tank, and he have the Zoensis little A can in there and a little bit Gorgonian in there. He does 100% water change every week. 100%. What he does is that he has identical jar next to it with the water mixed to the same temperature, same salinity, and he suck out all the water in his tank. So basically, his little A can and Zoensis just wet, exposed to air. He poured the whole freaking thing, the new water in there. That's what he does every week. 100% water change, and the Zoensis A can in there looks beautiful. So
Wow.
think about it this way: if your water parameter is good, you can do a 50% water change every week. That actually, it can work wonders. But the problem is that it's just not very feasible for a larger tank.
Well, I was talking to this guy, iReef, on a Saturday, Peter Parry, who's, like I say, an OG reefer, proper OG reefer. And he was talking about doing like 40% weekly water changes on an SPS
40%?
tank. And I was like, yeah.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
Wow. Okay.
And I
Well,
was
your
like,
fish,
I was
we
like,
love it.
wow.
Yeah.
What, Mo?
Yes.
Mo, you look a little bit concerned with me throwing those numbers.
No, not at all.
What do you do?
Like I said, I saw
What
Peter's.
do you do?
I've not done a water change on this tank. Different things. So in my last tank, in my last tank, I did a water change every weekend for 9 years, maybe 8 years, every weekend. And then the last couple of years, I just thought, I can't be arsed with this. And then it was fine. And then because it was fine for 2 years without water change, this time I've not done a single water change since I set it up, except salinity fluctuates. If it fluctuates a little bit, I use a bit of salt and I put it into a bucket and let it slowly dissolve into it, just to adjust salinity. But that's all. But with this tank my size, you still get through a fair bit of salt just doing that.
Well, it's the cost, isn't it, and the time, as I was moaning about on here.
But I've not done No, I mean, there are lots of pros and cons to each, and if you rely on water changes, great. You know, I think the time when I stopped doing water changes actually was I used to use Reefer's Best salt. Do you remember that salt? Reefer's Best from KZ. It was KZ's salt.
Right.
It was
It was the really expensive one before the modern reefing came out. Yeah.
Right, yeah. And it was a really good salt, but they had one batch with massive potassium, like 850 or something. And
Whoa.
I used one box of it, and then I thought there's something wrong with this. And then it turned out it was a bad batch, but that's when I stopped doing them. I had that, and I lost a couple of acros. Not much, but just a couple. Maybe my potassium was low and it put it right, but I lost a couple, and then after I stopped doing them. But I used the Reefer's Best salt for years, and it was a really good salt. But it's that kind of every so often you don't know if the salt's dodgy or dodgy back. There was the issue, wasn't there, with tropic marine salt as well?
Yeah.
So,
the turkey thing, right?
Yeah. So
I think the other thing as well is
foolproof.
I think the other thing as well. Sorry, is what you're testing your salinity with and whether it's accurate or not before you go and do a massive change, because you might make something that was all right not so all right.
Yeah, it's, each their own. Really, you can't really criticize anybody for doing anything specific.
Yeah. Okay.
Everyone reads different.
They do. They do. Sorry, Dong, went off on a tangent. So when is a skimmer a good investment?
That's a good question. Yeah. So also that it matter about what kind of coral you're keeping, what kind of growth rate you're expecting them to be. So all the different way to skin a cat. I don't know why that phrase actually exists. There's 1,000 ways to skin a cat, but what's wrong with a cat?
We know you're a cat lover, Dong.
With no skin.
I have 4 now, so it's so lovely. So why? So let's go back to here's an important thing. If you're doing any carbon dosing, like vinegar, vodka, biopellet, you need a skimmer, because that is the important part of all this message. Because when you're doing carbon dosing, you're you're basically encouraging bacteria to grow. When the bacteria grow in rapid fashion, and then the skimmer export it out. If you don't have a skimmer to export those carbon, those bacteria, and you are not doing water change frequent enough, you are looking at a tank crash.
Yeah, you're not removing anything, are you? You need to remove the product you're making. Like.
Yep, exactly.
So the story about dissolved organic carbon. So you know, DOCs and looking at that. So what's the link between dosing vinegar, vodka, etc., and DOCs? DOCs. Everyone say, "Oh, DOCs bad," and everyone in the past, KZ, the whole system was based on that. So what's the story?
Okay, the story is that dissolved organic carbon is neither good or bad. So thinking about dissolved organic is bad is actually just like bread and butter are bad. If you ate too much, of course, it's bad, right? So yeah, 600. One guy gets 600, 500 pounds, and probably should stop the bread and butter. But so dissolved organic is that. Same thing is a food source for many bacteria and even for coral and for sponge. And for all these microorganism or macroorganism in the water, dissolved organic carbon actually is an important and critical food source. Also important for doing photosynthesis, all that kind of thing. So, but when you have too much organic carbon, and what happened, the nature's way is to have many bacteria to eat it. So the bacterial population going to explode. So, dissolved organic carbon is neither good nor bad. By testing dissolved organic carbon in your water doesn't tell you jack. Nothing. It is a marketing gimmick. Why they do it? They want your money. As simple as that. Testing dissolved organic carbon is totally pointless.
But is it not fair to say that you will keep the balance right by doing no?
Well, okay. What is the standard for that balance? What is the balance? How do you achieve that balance? There is no published data saying what is the balanced dissolved organic material. And you can go to the natural.
I was going to go back to the water change, though. I was going to go back to the water change scenario to prevent maybe in an excessive build-up.
Yes. Yeah.
I always see it as the good guys and the bad guys. You need a little bit of both. You don't want too much of the bad guys, obviously, but you need some of them.
So that is why this hobby is an art on top of science. Like 80% art and 20% of science, or probably even less, because we understand so little about the science. So we're basically shooting a dart. Oh yeah, the many things are bullshit. People just want your money and doing all these dissolved organic tests. Well, when you do not have a standard, what are you testing against, right? You don't have a standard. And even you go to a natural reef, you collect a water sample from here to there, they're different. Open water is different.
I guess it's kind of irrelevant anyway, because if you do, I don't know, go for a heavy feeding cycle or whatever, and your total dissolved carbon goes up, your skimmer's going to skim out more anyway. So it's going to level itself, won't it? It's not going to make much difference, I wouldn't have thought.
Just look at your coral. So if a coral looks shitty and to do more water change, you turn up your skimmer, right? If a coral looks fine, sit back, relax, enjoying a cup of coffee or single malt scotch, and sit back and relax. There's a lot of saying that a lot of testing does not tell you anything. The only difference is that you have less money in your bank, but it doesn't tell you much at all.
Well, I'm talking about people, companies want your money and stuff, all that. And I went through a phase on my reef tank with the frag system plumbed into it, where I was struggling to get nitrate and phosphate. And I, like an idiot, was going out and buying phosphate and buying nitrate and dosing it because I fell for it. And then I thought, you know what? I'm just going to turn my skimmer off for a couple of weeks.
Yep, that happened. That happened on this tank behind me. Exactly the same.
Exactly the same effect. And we got through it that way. And then I put the skimmer on for 4 hours a day, then 8 hours a day, 12 hours a day, and now it's back to a balanced system.
Yeah.
So I used
Yeah.
the skimmer actually for the opposite reason of what it's designed for. I used it to buffer my contaminants up. I wanted to reduce my skimming to build my nutrients up. Whereas normally you buy a skimmer to go the other way, right? So you can use it.
Or you can feed more.
There's a lot to be
Yeah,
said
yeah.
for common sense, isn't there?
Yes.
Yeah, it's common sense. It's
Yeah.
all
There's a
about
reason I
common
took
sense.
my fleece off when I ran the fleece for ages, and then someone just thought, oh, corals aren't quite, they're a bit pale, they're not really doing, and then suddenly I took the fleece off, and everything just kicked in, and I just thought, well, I've got this, and everyone's talking about fleece. It wasn't there when I stopped my previous tank, and then suddenly everyone's got to have a fleece, and it was built into my sump, so I used it for ages, and then suddenly realized it's not really doing my tank a service, and then I took it off, and great. A bit like you, Jamie. So you suddenly think, well, do I need to be dosing this in a bottle, or just put a bit of food in the tank and switch the
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. But these, I'm not saying it's completely unnecessary to have those products available. You might need to buy a bit of nitrate and that sort of stuff, but to rely on it to keep your system stable is baffling. I don't know.
Yeah.
They'll market it and say you need, they'll market it to the high hill because it's an easy sell, isn't it? But realistically,
it's easy to tweak as well. So it's not, So I for example, I dose ammonium in the tank, and it might turn out that was nonsense as well. But I can adjust my nitrates based on that, and it's cheap to do. So I don't need to buy the expensive chemicals. So yes, and you dose this much, it's going to have this effect in the next day. So yes, there is use for it, and maybe feeding a bit more might take a bit longer, and the phosphates will go up as well. So yes, each to their own again.
Yeah.
You can't say it's definitely a bad thing, but there are easier ways, more common sense ways, keeping it simple that work.
It's just understanding the inputs and the outputs on your particular system, isn't it? And then tailoring it.
Yes.
That.
Absolutely that.
Yep.
Yeah,
And
literally dialing it in general with the tank. As you would the skimmer.
That's why it's an art.
I agree. And
so I actually have a special note here so that I won't forget to talk about. Okay. The note saying that talk about tropic marine or for reef.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, it's a very popular thing for dosing tropic marine or for reef as 1 part dosing of the calcium and alkalinity. But you have to realize dosing off for reef is a heavy carbon dosing.
Oh, okay.
Yes, the reason how it works is the off for reef is a calcium formate. The calcium part supplement your calcium, and the formate is a single carbon organic molecule that feeds the bacteria. When the bacteria eat it, it produces carbon dioxide in the water. And that carbon dioxide, because of the high pH of the reef tank as a buffer, that carbon dioxide turns into bicarbonate. That is how it increases its alkalinity. So normally, in theory, all carbon dosing will increase your alkalinity. Because when we use vinegar, vodka, or use Nopax, we only dose a relatively small amount. That is why we do not see that much increase.
I'm laughing, Dong, because when I was at that meet last week, people were buying Nopax, and me and Peter Parry, who was in the comments, we talked about reefing bullshit last week. Which it's just white vinegar. It's just white vinegar. Just buy vinegar. Vodka. Sorry.
Buy vinegar.
Yeah, just buy vinegar.
Yeah. So when people are dosing carbon dosing using vinegar, vodka, or Nopax to control their phosphate and nitrate, the dosage is relatively or significantly smaller than when you use alpha reef to increase your alkalinity. Because all carbon dosing will achieve the same effect. The bacteria eat your carbon source and generate carbon dioxide, release the carbon dioxide in your water column that turn into alkalinity. Yeah, same theory. So in order to, alpha reef, where's your trash can, Tom?
I always have something on the shelf on a Friday night you talk about. There you go.
So The
It's too
problem
close,
about
isn't it?
off a reef is
That's
you're
why,
doing a huge, oh my goodness, huge
Frostbite.
amount of carbon dosing. A huge amount of carbon dosing, which you can see your alkalinity slowly rising, like up to like 24 hours, still going up.
Wow.
That is because it takes time for the bacteria to ingest the formate in the water and to grow more and produce carbon dioxide. That means that you're basically
pH.
dumping formic acid in your tank
Right.
all the time and waiting
You make your
bacteria to
skimmate
consume
stink.
it.
Does your skimmate stink like carbon dosing when you dose the Orpha Reef? Because you know it smells different
I think the
when you're doing
stink, the
carbon
smell.
dosing.
Well, the smell probably is not that relevant because that when bacteria get exported into your skimmer cup, if they are not dead, they don't smell.
Yeah, but you know when you dose if you do carbon dosing, if you don't, there's a different smell to the skimmate, and it's blacker when you carbon dose. I don't know why.
Yeah, there's more bacteria get exported when you're
Yeah,
doing carbon
maybe.
dosing. So yeah,
Do you get that
the
effect
smell may
with-
be different.
Do you get that with Orpha Reef? Does that happen? Do you know?
Absolutely. Orpha Reef is a heavy carbon dosing, period.
Yeah,
And
okay.
they're using the single carbon is formate. They only have one carbon in it. So that basically most of the bacteria will chew on it, will eat it, and then bubbling carbon dioxide inside your tank and also affect your pH.
Emma's got a good question for you. Where does that sit
Yeah.
with Reef Active?
What is I'm not familiar with the reef active. What is it?
The Reef Active, from memory, it's is it bacterial blend? Mo, help me out, Jamie.
I don't know.
not
to be
familiar with
honest.
that product. I'm not sure what that is.
It's a tropic marine thing, is it?
Tropic Marine.
Emma will tell us.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Emma, what is refractive?
I've used it before.
Yeah, let's know what that is. I should Google it. I don't know what that is. Tropic marine's carbon dosing biopolymers.
Is that the
There
stuff?
you go.
Oh,
Is that the stuff they used to put in the salt?
That
Mix in the
okay.
salt.
So the biopolymer. Okay, now I talk about it. You guys afraid to
No,
be
it's not
sued
what I
or
was
not?
That's not what I was thinking about. Yeah, go on, let's be sued. Let's be sued. It's
Okay.
Friday night.
Let's
Go
be
for it.
sued. Let's talk about banana.
Here we go.
So when the scientific community cannot determine which carbon dosing can benefit what bacteria, and magically somebody pulls something out of the banana and saying that they have some kind of magic formula that can differentiate good bacterial and bad bacterial. I think that is more than just reefing something.
Emma, what have you done?
That guy. This is wow. Actually, that is something that is so unimaginably BS. So,
Okay.
first of all,
Does that make a buzzing sound when you press it?
actually, I took out the battery
Oh, you need to have it. We need to have that on your show.
Yeah, I should put the battery back in, but I
Yeah.
don't know where the battery is because that this is not the reefing BS. So that's why I took it out the battery. So okay, here's the thing: is this magic polymer? I think that's beyond words to describe this kind of scientific achievement. The beyond scientific achievement. I don't know. Maybe they have some magic source from Area 51 or from Roswell UFO or maybe some Bermuda Triangle. I don't know. Yeah. So, by the way, go back to the Orpha Reef. When people do not have a skimmer, you're doing Orpha Reef is a disaster waiting to happen. I'm not talking about theoretical disaster. I have seen many cases from nano tank to large tank that dosing Orpha Reef for a longer period of time, and they have problem. Especially those tank does not have a skimmer. The problem happened earlier. So if you want to dose Orpha Reef, you feel free to do so, but make sure you have a pretty good skimmer.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's interesting because it's something that's marketed, especially over here in the UK, is a very Jamie, correct me if I'm wrong here, is a very sort of easy set up for people that have got some corals that want to have a little bit of play around, mix it up. You might not even need to use a doser. You can probably dose it manually, when you do maybe
For
a
the
water
beginner as
change.
well.
For a beginner, it's marketed in such a way that it's a very gentle, easy kind of product that people, well, I didn't until we're having this conversation now, would never have thought about what you're telling me.
No, all reef generally has got quite a good reputation for quite an easy entry to dosing, isn't it? It's
definitely.
A lot of people have used it. It's probably my first product I ever used to supplement minerals of some sort. I think it's got its place. Nano reefers that don't need to invest in dosing equipment and stuff, it's probably okay.
Actually, there's a friend of ours from when I had my previous tank. Just talking about keeping it simple. Sorry, Dong. Basically, he had a 4-foot tank, 4x2x2, something like that, full of SPS, and he was quite a laid-back guy. He used to come in, and his dosing regime was he had tropic marine salts, calcium, magnesium, and alk. And one day he'd have a teaspoon, and he'd get a teaspoon of calcium on a Monday, put it into the tank. A teaspoon of magnesium on a Tuesday, put it in the tank, and a bit of alk on. I don't know if he did alk a bit more often. That's all he did, just as a teaspoon, and he just tossed the powder into the sump. And his tank was the most amazing thing I've seen. I put a picture on one of my YouTube video channels somewhere in the part. Absolutely amazing. And then just talking about keeping it simple. But if you're thinking about SPS, LPS, I want to keep this, and you're new to it, and you think for reef just got to put a little bit of this in every day. Well, that's quite easy to do. So I think that's the reason why actually it's really popular. Yeah. If something is easy to do, it will get done more, and that's why I think it's. But now you see, Dong's put everyone off, so no one can use it anymore. Or they go and buy a nice skimmer, Dong. Yeah.
The good thing about it
is, if you're a good skimmer, do water change. That's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
So
it's not a super concentrate. So you'd have to really put a lot in to screw something up. It's quite a weak product. So a little bit of something isn't going to be terrible. And I think it's not that weak. Good results.
Okay, can we just rewind then and explain again why you believe it could be potentially harmful in the long run?
Okay, so because that for reef, first of all, it is the rising of alkalinity. It depends on what kind of bacteria, how popular your bacterial population in your tank. Then how effectively you can consume the formic acid and generate this carbon dioxide. One example, one guy has aquatronic, the auto detector. He linked the aquatronic to dosing off a reef, and he crashed his tank because that when you dose off a reef, in many cases, the alkalinity is not instantaneously go up. It slowly go up over time. Yeah. So that mess up. If you're using an automatic alkalinity tester, link it to your doser, you shouldn't use off a reef because that the alkalinity increase is not instantaneously. So okay. So the second thing is that
trouble, Jamie.
Sorry.
Jamie's wife wants to participate. If Jamie, we could swap you with her. If she wants to take over for the last sort of half an hour, it's fine. No problem.
It was just a delivery. Sorry.
Oh, you're fine. You're welcome. It's justified. Sorry, Dong. Back to you.
Okay. So if you're doing frequent water change and you have a good skimmer, probably the effect is not that major. And but I saw the problem on bigger tanks. When they're doing off a reef for like a year or something like that, and normally on a large tank, the water change the percentage is relatively low, and your skimmer performance is not that consistent. So over time, and then you have basically you're growing the bacterial every day. Every time you dose off a reef, you're growing the bacterial. And another phenomenon I can see is that the pH tend to be lower. So that's why if you want to dose off a reef, it's much better you also dosing cod water to balance out the pH. But now that off a reef is really not that simple anymore because you have really countered the lower pH.
Yeah.
think about it. The one guy was using CO2 scrubber alongside with off a reef. I said, what are you thinking? One side, make your water more acidic by bubbling carbon dioxide inside your water. On the other hand, you are CO2 scrubbing the air on your skimmer. So that why not? The better way to do it is actually just use cutwater alongside with off a reef. That's one thing. Another thing is that the unpredictable bacterial growth in your tank. So for people who have using off a reef for a long time, that your coral is more prone to bacterial infection. I've seen in real life of my customer, and then the difference is day and night after they stop off a reef and go back to the regular 2-part dosing, because the pH become more stable. The alkalinity is instantaneously they can monitor. It's not like that. The one guy was calling me at night, say, "Hey, I dose off a reef and then my alkalinity is 9 now." I said, "What's your target?" He said, "Oh yeah, I shoot it for 8." And then the next morning, you tell me now his alkalinity is 12. Keep rising. So that's one of the real life story. So basically, there's more chance that the coral get bacterial infection. That's another thing I saw from my customer's tank who are using off a reef. So it's basically off a reef is a carbon dosing. In theory, it can promote good and bad bacterial growth. Just a plain simple idea behind that is you are dosing carbon. You're carbon dosing. You're promoting bacterial growth. And then
how do you know it's
control
bad
that?
or good? How do you know it's going to?
You cannot tell.
This is good. Yeah.
You cannot tell because it's a single carbon. It's a formate, and bad and good both eat it and both grow.
But what you are saying though with the off reef is, if the level of husbandry is minimal, it is a ticking time bomb. To an extent.
It's a ticking time bomb. So if people are doing very good husbandry, just like keep water changing, frequent water change, and have a good skimmer to export then it's not a big problem. But I have seen many nano tank being sold off a reef by the stores, by local fish stores, and they do not have a skimmer. Guess what? Algae problem, tank crash, low pH, very obvious about those kind of things.
Wow, and that's the sort of people they market that stuff towards as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Well,
Here's one in the comments.
Tell them some more corals.
One of the best. One of the best.
Calcium formate is known for decades.
So we've just turned one of the best known go-to easy products into the worst thing you can ever do.
I think there's a product chain behind it, maybe. Okay,
Dong,
so let's move on.
Couple of questions for you before we do. Liam saying, in an SPS dominant system, running a roller mat refugium carbon dosing, how do you dial in your skimmer so it exports enough DOC without stripping too many aminos or upsetting the bacterial balance?
Actually,
that's a Sunday question.
That is a question really difficult to answer. First of all, we do not know how efficient our skimmer is, because there's no standard for that.
Yeah.
And now all fall into an art territory, because there's no testing can tell you precisely how good your skimmer is doing. And you have nitrate and phosphate test kit, but nitrate and phosphate test kit only testing the leftover nitrate and phosphate after whatever animal or bacterial consume those nutrient source. The total organic content test is totally useless. It doesn't tell you anything. So basically now all go back to an art. Look at your coral. So if you, so for experienced reef keeping, that's the beauty of this hobby. It's a hobby. It's an art.
I won't say it's beauty when you look at your coral and they're not happy. That's not beauty. That's a nightmare. Steve Charles is asking you a very good question on the back of the off reef. He's saying, so okay then, fair enough. taking on board what you're saying, what would be your suggestion then or recommendation for an all-in-one other than that product? Anything you can think of?
Actually, I tried Cutwasser. It's not potent enough. And also
Unless you
Cutwasser.
evaporate more.
Huh?
Unless you evaporate more, put a fan over your.
Yeah, but if you evaporate more, but when you have a pretty large SPS system, you won't catch up.
But this is marketed. This is marketed dong in the UK for a lot of, like I say, entry level people that don't want the hassle of the husbandry. Ironically, that we're talking about, they don't have to do that much, so they don't have the time. It's a bit of a set and forget sort of product. Put that in, mix it in, pour it in, problem solved. So if this is going to, in the long term, potentially, based on their husbandry levels, give them a headache, what would be your suggested alternative for people that are trying to keep it cheap and trying to keep it easy?
Water change.
Water changes.
Yeah, water change probably the easiest one you can do.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, because there really no all-in-one product that does not have the drawback.
Yeah.
Because all the all-in-one product, they all are like the. I think that another company has a product is a calcium acetate. Basically, instead of a formate, it's acetate. They have to accept the same issue, that kind of thing. So they're really very difficult to find a truly one-part dosing system. But if you do enough water change and keep coral that is not very demanding for calcium and alkalinity, you're gonna have LPS and soft tea tank. That's beautiful. And
I think
just
if I can throw in a bit of my personal experience, not saying it's correct or whatever, but whenever I've ran smaller tanks, so nano tanks, 100 litres or less, which I've had a few, just frag systems or softy systems over the years, I've never ran a skimmer. I've done fairly frequent water changes, but to replace the skimmer, I've just cut a bit of a polyfilter up and I put a polyfilter in and replaced that every week or two. And that was my alternative to a skimmer. And I didn't dose anything because the water changes were that frequent enough that it put stuff back in. And literally, that was the basics of the basic reefing I've ever done. And it worked. It grew coral. It looked okay. I didn't dose any of these all-in-one products. So just water changes and a bit of polyfilter in between. And that was my tried and tested method.
For matter of fact, there is so many small tanks run this way. Yeah. And it also highly depends on what coral you keep as well. There are plenty of aquaculture coral that can flourish and just using a filter, polyfilter.
Okay.
Yeah,
and for matter of fact,
go on.
Pardon?
No, you're right, Jamie. Go on. What were you saying?
I'd say they take out a lot of organics. So a skimmer, basically, as I understand it, takes out mostly dissolved organics, and that's exactly what a polyfilter takes out. So it replaced the skimmer perfectly in a small system for me, and that's how I did it. So to answer the question of dosing, I didn't dose anything. Just did a water change every now and then, a little bit, and that was it.
Not only dissolved organics, it takes out all sorts of organics. The skimmer, because whatever sticks to the bottom.
Yeah. There are many of the organic that does not dissolve. Also, just like motion, finely flying around in the water column, they take them out too.
It will take out any
large protein.
Hydrophobic stuff that sticks to a bubble, hydrophilic stuff, right? It will take out anything dissolved that sticks to bubbles and particulate stuff as well, granted. But in terms of what I was just trying to compare what the polyfilter takes out like a skimmer does. It will take out your dissolved organics.
I mean,
are you talking about
it goes through are you talking about a sponge filter?
Yeah, a polyfilter is like an impregnated sponge, isn't it? So
we're getting very
so are you talking about the brand, the actual polyfilter?
Scientific here on a Friday night, gentlemen.
We are, it's Friday.
It's Friday. Come on, moving on.
Okay, move on. Yeah. So if you're using flocculant like coral snow, you definitely need a skimmer, because that's one way to take out those particles.
Yeah.
So if you're dosing lanthanum chloride to control your phosphate, you absolutely need a skimmer. You really do not want those tiny little particles floating around, lingering in your tank, so that your fish can get damaged gill. So that's very important. If you ever think about doing that, do not use lanthanum chloride to control phosphate unless you have a good skimmer.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay. And also that if you have a very deep tank, very tall tank with a limited water surface, and a skimmer can be a very good investment. Like we talked about before, is the air exchange. That's actually can make a day and night difference. Move on. Okay, so why DC skimmer is a better choice? All the skimmer I use these days is all DC, no AC skimmer anymore. Everything DC. There are several important things. First, thermal protection. When the pump overheats, it shut the skimmer pump off. So to protect the motor, run dry protection. What happened? Your ATO fell. Your water evaporated, your pump get out of water or whatever. Then DC pump can shut off the pump to protect the motor. Impeller protection, that's actually quite important. For example, that the hermit crab or little critters happen in the sun. So some people actually deliberately, like me, toss some of this little critter in the sun to cleaning whatever leftover food. So if there's a hole exists in your thumb, there's somebody trying to get into it. That doesn't sound right.
Go on.
Okay, so your skimmer pump is definitely sooner or later going to suck something in. Okay, and that is so important for a needle wheel. These things are really fragile. I think that several times that I will find that a snail shell that suck into the pump will damage the pins. When the pins are damaged and you're creating a lot of noise, the pump is wobbling because the balance is out. So, and sometimes even worse, it jams the propeller. For AC pump, especially for those really powerful one, when your snail get in there, it just grind away, just chop it into pieces, damage your pump. But DC pump can shut off and flash is error code on the controller telling you, yeah, the pump is stopped because of jam. That's very important. Soft start, that's another important thing for skimmer. Because if you have a power outage or you turn off your feed pump, you put your skimmer on the feed mode, in that 10 minutes of feed mode, when the propeller stops, somebody will get into the hole. So with a soft start, yeah, right. There's a three types of people.
Yeah, I know. I'm just. The problem is I actually think about how other people. Yeah. Moving on.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay. Move on. So a soft start, that means that a DC pump will slowly rotate when you start up to drive out whatever thing in the hole, and then start to spin up at full speed.
I'm definitely a slow
That
start.
sounds awful, but also energy saving. A DC pump definitely costs you less electricity, especially when your electricity rate is what? Triple, quadruple?
Yeah.
Every
UK
M
price,
counts,
yeah.
right? Yep. Energy saving is important thing. And also the broad range of adjustment. You can adjust the pump speed to accommodate the water height, how deep your skimmer submerged into the sump. And there's a broader range of tunability that you can tune your skimmer much better. And more important, longevity and less maintenance. So DC pump in general lasts a lot longer than AC pump because I have a prop here. So this is a DC pump. You can see it has a humongous chamber at the front. But AC pump, normally this chamber is very tiny, and then the fin actually almost rubbing against the internal thing. So when you have such a big chamber on your DC pump, when debris suck into there, it fly out. There's less chance to hit on your propeller or your needle wheel to jam your pump. And if a jam happen, the DC pump can stop the pump so it won't grind down the motor. That is why DC skimmer, it require much less maintenance For example, when I have my reef octopus, super reef octopus 6,000, 5,000, that kind of thing, it has this bubble blaster pump. It's an extremely strong AC pump. Anything get in there, get ground up. And sometimes even the propellers jam. Even you have debris trapped between the cage and the magnet, it still grind away. Keep grinding. Yeah. So that's why that pump has very high failure rate. One time I pulled the propeller out, even though it's still running, the deep grooves cut onto the propeller magnet.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It only takes like a bit of a snail shell or something, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yes. Yep. That is why. Yeah. Go ahead.
Sorry, there's a question in the comments from Liam, which is a fair question for anybody that was looking at investing in a skimmer or upgrading or buying their first skimmer. So Liam's saying, when looking at a new skimmer, how important is the air liters per hour it sucks dong? For me, this correlation goes in line with the pH boost using a bigger skimmer compared to a smaller one.
Yep. That's a very good question because I want to talk about that too. So the air intake, very important, but it's not more air the better. So the fine-tuning a skimmer is an art instead of pure science. So in theory, the more air you draw in, the better. But there is it's not sometimes that the reality is not that rosy. So well, when you choose a skimmer, let's look at this. So the all this number on the box may not be that reliable. I can tell you that. The first thing.
Yeah.
So I will not compare skimmer A versus skimmer B by just using this number, because how do they measure this number? I know people.
New, isn't it?
Huh?
It's like theoretical from new, isn't it? So
no, it's not. It's that those numbers is more like pulling out of their banana. Seriously, no better than that. I used to work with some manufacturer for equipment, aquarium equipment. I asked them, how do you determine your flow rate? How your pump? How do you determine how much air draw? They said, oh yeah, we measure it. I said, sure, but how do you do it? We just guess.
No, you can put a little pinwheel flow meter on your air intake and see what the flow is, can't you?
Not as precise as, because when you talk about when you're measuring a flow rate of a propeller pump, that is easier. But when you talk about the needle wheel skimmer, the needle wheel plays a huge role about how much air draw versus water draw.
Right.
And the same pump with a slightly wear down needle wheel can totally change those kind of things. And the other thing is that if you put your pump at 95% versus 75% of speed, the number is totally different.
Yeah.
How deep you submerge your skimmer in your water can make a dramatic difference about the air draw and water draw.
But also remember, take it to its nth degree. So if you've got 100% air, you're not going to skim. If you've got 100% water, you're not going to skim. So it's not all about how much liters per hour of air or water you've got. It's the balance. So the balance,
it's a balance.
Comes in. So you've got to tune your skimmer to your system.
Yeah, but I'd also say maximize the skimmer though, Mo, as well. If you invested heavily,
yeah. But if you have a skimmer that's too big for your system, again, it's too big. You're not going to get enough organics into it. It's not going to skim so well. So it is about balancing. Not all about size and the amount of air you're getting in there. It will have to be balanced.
Did you hear about that, James? All about the size.
Why
we're going to talk about size later.
It's not what's under Dong's desk. It's what's on top of Dong's desk that matters.
Okay.
Oh,
here we go.
A lot of things. Look at that. That's a packet skimmer.
Oh, nice.
In reality, though, the best measure of your skimmer's performance is what is in that cup at the end of the day, isn't it? Like how dark, exactly how much.
Yeah, exactly. You just adjust until you're satisfied.
How much would you need to be paid to drink it, Dong? Would you drink it?
$10 million.
That's next week's live. Sorted out.
Oh dear. Next slide.
Is that
the next slide, please?
Stream, is it?
Yeah. Okay. All right. Buy new or use? That's actually a frequently asked question. Because skimmer lasts a long time. But when you go on the market to buy used or new, that is several things you need to pay attention to. First, what type of skimmer they are. If they're DC skimmer, well, I would buy them used. Seriously, because the DC pump can last a long time. And only consumable for a DC pump is a needle wheel itself. You probably can pick up pretty cheap. And the skimmer body, it seems like they like vampire and live forever. See so many skimmer body laying around.
But you know,
right? It's a
that was the first thing when I bought a skimmer or when I started looking at skimmers in the early days. I just saw it as just a plastic bottle with a pump, and I just couldn't get my head around how much these things were. To say it was literally just a plastic, like I said, bottle.
It's a plastic cylinder. That's
cylinder,
it, with a pump.
If you're buying a skimmer second hand, the only part you need to look at is the condition of the pump and maybe the control box. The body of the skimmer, what's going to go wrong with that?
Unless somebody's pumped ozone through it and it wasn't rated for it and it starts to crack and crumble.
But even you crack, it still works.
Yeah, exactly. No,
Milliput.
Okay.
It's got milliput around it. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
But there's some skimmer I will not recommend you to buy.
Okay.
For use one. First, the skimmers using this the DC the AC pump, especially with this that's a reef octopus on the right hand side. Is a reef octopus with the bubble blaster pump. Okay. I will stay away from this one because the bubble blaster pump, first, you cannot replace them. They're out of stock. And then the skimmer was designed to hook up that pump. You need to buy the exact pump to replace it. Second thing, bubble blaster pump, very strong. It works really good when it was new, but it has a huge failure rate.
I would have loved to have been in that conference meeting when they came up with that name. We're going to call it the bubble blaster pump.
Yeah, the bubble blaster. I don't think they're even in production anymore.
Okay.
So they basically phase out right now. And then the second thing is so we're about to get sued again. I will not buy a Red Sea DC skimmer.
Because you've got to buy reason for it as well.
No, yeah, because the Red Sea skimmer is the highest failure rate out of any brands of DC skimmer I ever seen from my customer. Oh, wow. It's ridiculous.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah. Don't do it. Walk away. So, no. You can buy our cheaper coral box. It will last you longer than a Red Sea DC skimmer. So that is one. Maybe it's something to do with your ATO, Tom.
I thought you were going to say it's because it comes with a Red Sea tank.
I generally like Red Sea equipment. I've got quite a lot of it, but
they're generally pretty good.
Just to carry on the theme of tonight's Red Sea bashing, Tom's ATO is knackered. Dong says the skimmers are crap. And
what's under your desk?
I've got a 3-month-old Reef A45 that's packed up today. That's going back. So cheers, Red Sea. Hope you enjoyed the stream.
well, actually, it wasn't only Red Sea bashing because all for Reef got a bit of a bash, didn't
it? True. I'll counter it by saying I've got 5 reef waves, and this is the only one I've had a problem with. So
yeah, I'd rather have an issue with a power head than an ATO though. With like 500 SPS frags cooking.
I don't use an ATO. I just use a peri pump, so I know exactly how much I evaporate. Well,
okay.
And I just peri pump dose my RO.
Yeah, just a dosing pump.
Well, I use a Kamoa, adjustable, so I got Wi-Fi control.
Oh, the Apex.
Have you got hooked up to the Apex though to measure your water levels in your sump and that sort of stuff?
No, so there's a limit to the automation that I do. So I've got an Apex, but some of the things I just think I've got a camera on the water level, so I can see it. And if I'm away, I've got Wi-Fi control of my Kamoa, and I can see what my sump level is, so I know roughly my salinity is all right. So that's what I do now. And the reason I do it because I had the Royal Exclusive auto top up, and it was the capacitive one, and for some reason it always used to stick on, so I got fed up with that and disconnected it. And then I just use a Kamoa, and that works a treat. So I've got a Kamoa on the calc and I've got a Kamoa on the RO, and I've just balanced them.
You're
But I
talking about
evaporate so much.
the FXSTP.
Yeah, they've got a 3 out now, which is
right,
nice.
okay.
But I use the 2, and it works.
Yeah.
It works well.
Do you have to
Okay.
change that? Sorry, going a bit off again, but do you have to, because you do that just by what you know your system runs at? Does that mean like changing between sort of summer and winter, the evaporation rate
little
change?
bit.
You've got to tweak it. So.
Yeah,
You're going
to tweak.
You're going to tweak that like you would if you were running Calquasser on it. I take it.
Yeah. So actually, you know, the difference really was I put fans on my. You know, when I was peeking out on my Calquasser, I put fans over my tank, and it helps to cool the tank because I've got a lot of lights over them, as you know. But the evaporation went up drastically, almost doubled. It almost doubled my evaporation. But now, because I've got the fans on it, it's more constant. For summer and winter, it's now more constant because it's at a higher level, but it's almost the same now. So now it's quite stable.
You're deliberately driving that evaporation just so you can tune your top up.
More not the top up, more about calc. I can keep dosing more calc.
Yeah.
And then I do my sort of bolus alk, but I do a lot less now. And the reason I went back to calc was because I was, how much do I do? Almost nearly 2 liters a day of alk. It's a lot to sustain. And calc wasser is through the calc stirrer. I got the Deltec calc stirrer, and then I've got RO through. Actually, tell a lie now. You're absolutely right. I've got the DOS. I've got the new DOS, and I've got one channel running RO out of my glass sump, and the other one doing RO into my calc stirrer, and then I just the levels between them depending on my my pH or my alk, whatever. And then I've just got one of the Ecotech Perry pumps, just dosing a bit of alk as a top up. It works a treat.
Mo, how many radions have you currently got on the tank?
20.
Sorry?
20.
20 XR30s, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, and what are they changing to?
I don't know. Why?
Okay.
What have you heard, Tom?
No comment. Moving on. Sorry, Don.
Steve will tell you. No, I've got an order. I'm going to change them to Strattons. Well, that's the thing to do, isn't it?
How many?
So you heard it
That's
here.
a great
No,
do.
so I've got the so several reasons. Okay, so the actually I was going to get the original Strattons direct from ATI when I set the tank up, and it didn't quite work out for reasons I won't go into. More about UK distribution than anything else. But anyway,
you mean Steve and Jez wanted their cut?
No, they weren't in it before. It was somebody else distributing, and so
I'm joking.
And as you know, Steve and Jez are brilliant. But the Radions work really, really well. So don't anyone get put off by the Radion. They're a brilliant light, and the spectrum is brilliant. Yes, they've got fans and people bash them, but for growing SPS, probably one of the best lights. But on my tank, there's still a gap in between, so I still get corals growing towards the light, and I've got 20 of them, but there's a 10-inch gap between them. So if I've always felt that the distribution of the T5s is a wide distribution, and if you remember Isan's tank with the Lannies, which has had a big plate of LEDs. So I've always had that in mind, that I think that's a much better option. And Strattons do that. It's a big wide plate, and if I put them side by side and cover the whole tank, there's light everywhere. It probably doesn't distribute the width, the angle as much as a Radion does, because they've got 123 degrees or something ridiculous. I don't know if it is that much really, but if you get a nice wide angle, you get light from all angles. And if you've got Strattons all over the tank, so mine is going to be a canopy over the whole tank, and I've got the largest size and about 12 units. It will cover roughly the footprint of my Radions now, but completely with light. So, and then I've just got to adjust the power and whatnot.
Jamie's face when you said 12 because he's doing the math.
Once again, Mo, if you want to share those 6 numbers that you use, I'll take them down, please.
Mo, we need to come down and do a video on a tour on your tank soon. Definitely, we need to. Do it. Sorry.
I probably tinker too much, and I won't have any corals left when I put these strands on.
That's the topic of conversation.
Mo, how about keeping it simple and just leave what you've got?
Yeah. Wow. Sorry, Dong. So new versus used then. So what's the summary then? Do it.
The summary is just if it's DC skimmer, if it's not resi, feel free to try them out.
Fair enough.
Yep. Okay, next slide. Dry skim or wet skim? So, well, there.
When
The
you have
difference-
nothing else to do.
The difference is really not that huge. Yeah, because that there's a certain amount of organic in your water. Your tank is a closed system, and then your skimmer, basically every drops of water will go through the skimmer with a long enough time. Even if you do dry skim or wet skim, the end result of how much gunk that you pull out probably is not that a huge difference there. But there are different about wet skimming. Very easily, if you just go to take a lunch break and you come back and then your skimmer cup, the lid is wobbling because it fill up the. So that means that you need to pay more attention if you want to do wet skim. So if you have a drain line always open, that you drain out somewhere, you are doing wet skim. That is actually quite dangerous. I'm going to give you one real life example.
So there needs to be a problem, surely.
Yeah, there's a real life example, and I'll give you on the later on. Okay. So when you're doing dry skim, yes, you probably can wait several days before you empty the cup. But dry skim has one nasty habit. It's that the inside of the skimmer neck keep accumulating all the gunk. So your opening become narrow and narrow and narrow.
Yeah.
So then your skimmer probably become
less effective,
less
efficient.
Yeah.
But you can get a neck cleaner, can't you? You know those automatic.
Well, the neck cleaner is an interesting thing. Where does the gunk goes? It drop
on the
straight
inside.
down.
Inside. Not always. It goes on the inside of the neck. Yeah, it does.
You just defeated all your days of skimming process.
We're not.
So you're getting it to re-skim it out again.
Yeah.
See, that's why you upgrade the pumps for, and then it re-skims everything out. So it's fine. Then there's limits. You still have to clean the neck cleaner. It's not like you put a neck cleaner in and forget it forever. But
so that's why I remove all the neck skimmer I used to have. It is not productive. So basically, dry skim, wet skim. How about let's say in between? So it's dry enough that the gunk does not accumulate too much inside the neck. Probably that's a good happy medium.
Here's a 50-50 question for you, right? And for everyone in the chat as well. Skimmate, right? When you're cleaning your neck and it's all disgusting and grim and skimmate, it divides our family. My wife and my eldest son say it's the worst smell I've ever smelled. I don't find it that bad at all.
Because you get sensitized.
No, but I just don't think it's a bad smell anyway. It doesn't bother me. Get my hands in there and clean it well. They think it's like treating sewage, but I'm like, not that bad to me.
My family hate it as well.
Yeah, but how do you find it, Mo? Do you think it's disgusting, or are we just used to it as reefers? Then?
We're used to it as reefers, but you talk to my wife and kids, they're like, "What are you doing?" It's like,
yeah, definitely.
Because I'll be in the bathroom like tonight. I was in the bathroom cleaning my skimmer out, and the son come downstairs. He's like, "What the hell, Daddy? Have you done shit?" Like, no. And it's like to them, it's the worst smell ever. I just can't see it myself.
One thing I've been told, Dong, and next Friday's guest will back me up on this because his opinion is very much stuck on this, that wet skimming will help with water clarity. What's your take on that?
Unless you use wet skimming as a water change method. Okay. That's what I do. So when I do water change, I change my waters through the skimmer. Do a really wet skim and let the bubble rise up and the bubble collect it in a cup and drain out. But I have to stand there and watch it to do the same. If I turn around, walk away, come back, and the water on the floor. Just like the shark in the elevator. Well, I flood my basement several times. I just clean it up before my wife knows. Okay, so if you use wet skim to change water, that definitely increase the clarity of your tank. It does.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a very good method to change water, and you
Especially if you put
increase
ozone
your
on it.
efficiency. Pardon?
So especially if you put ozone on it.
Yeah, when you put ozone on it,
I'm
basically all the smells are gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's also that the is sparkling clear, and the fish just like floating in midair. Yeah, that is really good to watch when you see your fish all floating.
Okay. So
Okay, move on.
which one should people? So seriously, which one should people be aiming for? And how do they know? Interestingly enough, how do people know which one they're doing? So how does somebody know they're doing a wet skim? How does somebody know they're doing a dry skim? I know you're thinking I'm daft asking this, but for somebody watching at home
So,
or watch this back, what are they looking for? What's the difference?
when you're doing a dry skim and then the skim made like powderish, chocolate, where lumps forming there.
Yeah.
So my personal preference is that when I'm not changing water, I tune the skimmer so that I can collect approximately like 1 cup every day.
Okay.
Well, because my system is pretty heavy load, so the 1 cup a day, and especially that there's nothing accumulating inside the rim of the skimmer neck. Then, but I don't want to skim too wet because that I can come back with an overflowing skimmer with the lid, the bubbling moving around. So it's basically it's a personal preference. I don't think it really impact the efficiency that much because what's in then it comes out.
Yeah.
Judge by how frequently you want to empty this.
Exactly. When you have nothing to do, wet skim.
You're about right. If you're fed up with changing it too often, do it less.
So where I've gone with mine is like
a bit.
Like we said about knowing the input and output of your tank. Obviously, my consumption on my other system is really high at the minute. Like I've got a frag tank plumbed in, so there's a lot of growth going on. Consumption's high. Obviously, the more and more you dose in your 2-part or whatever it may be, that adds to your salinity. So over time, salinity will go up with your dosage. So I'm now skimming a bit wetter just to counteract how much I'm dosing at the minute. So I've had to tune it that way. And so that's the driver for me. I've gone a little bit on a wetter skim now, just for that reason. Try and keep salinity more stable because I noticed it was creeping up.
So exactly that's why this hobby is an art. You are the artist. Yeah.
Well, you get to know your own little quirks of your system, don't you?
Yeah.
Definitely. No, definitely. Yeah. I have that. Next slide then, Don. Sorry.
Okay. Sizing the skimmer, manufacturer rating and data, highly unreliable. You shouldn't compare skimmer to skimmer by those data printed on the box. So my personal experience, just my personal preference, I will put the biggest skimmer I can fit in a sump. That can fit the sump. Of course, if I can afford it, that's the important thing. If you had a titanium propeller, I probably won't be able to afford it. So that's out of the question. So, and in my personal experience, sizing the skimmer is not about how big the whole body is. It's actually how small the neck is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because there's a common thing about people talking about if you use a skimmer that is too big for your tank, that is performed poorly because the foam head just doesn't form successfully. In reality, what I found out, and actually some other skimmer manufacturer found out, is the neck size. In the good old days, when you have a bigger skimmer, it comes with a larger neck.
Yeah.
But that is totally pointless. That's why, that's why I like the Reef Breeders' new lines of skimmer. That's what I'm using too in one of the biggest systems. What that skimmer is a big belly, but has a narrow neck. When the neck is small, the foam actually forms really well. Yeah, the foam climbing up through a narrow neck.
Yeah.
So that with a big belly, a narrow neck skimmer,
big surface area, but extract it out quicker.
Yes, and then also allow the foam to easily climb out. That actually turn into one of my favorite design. Is a big belly, smaller neck.
So I'm good, me. Big belly, small neck. We're good. Okay. So I'd make a good skimmer. Don't know about you, Jamie and Mo. I'd make a good skimmer. Anyway. Okay. Okay.
All right. Okay. So let's move on. Okay. How to kill your reef tank using a skimmer? Of course, that I leave this page intentionally blank because I have no idea what to put on here as a picture. Now, here's a story about how this famous person, Eric Borman, is a very famous person, at least in US, and he has a book about coral reef. He's a pioneer of aquaculture, all that kind of thing. How to kill his tank. His skimmer have a drain pipe going to his yard. And then his auto top off is linked to RODI unit on the wall. One day he went out. When he come back, the skimmer overflowing, basically draining half of his tank to his lawn. And the ATO did its job, but keep filling the tank with RODI.
Wow.
So he lost all his coral that he collected for years.
That's not the only story like that. Did you hear how Steve? You remember Steve Weist's Oregon Reef?
Yeah.
Amazing tank. Do you know how that got wiped out?
How?
He had a big Deltec skimmer. Do you remember his sump was underneath the tank, and he had it all set up really nice and neat. He did a water change, and then he cleaned his skimmer, and then he forgot, and he used to drain it directly to the drain, and he forgot to turn the drain off, and he left it and went out for I don't know how long a day. Came back and basically his tank had emptied out into the the drain.
Wow.
And then he did a water change but didn't have any spare water, and so he'd used tap water with a dechlorinator, and then it wiped out his corals. So he filled up the tank, got the salinity back up, did everything, but he'd used tap water, which is not like Dong's tap water. And
You remember my tap water? Yes, my magic tap water.
If Dong had done the same, his corals would have grown out of the water.
Dong's tap water reminds me of Peckham Springs. For those of you who know only fools and horses.
For matter of fact, still now, but these days, people still come over and take my tap water. Yeah, it works.
But
that's a different story.
It's good for your hair follicles, Dong.
You should bottle it. You should bottle it.
Good for your whole hair follicles.
All right, so let's move on. Next. So how deep should I submerge my skimmer? Read the manual. And also that all the good skimmer will have a line on the skimmer body telling you this is the highest water you should go. If you cannot find that line on your skimmer, you bought the wrong skimmer.
Yeah. How
level goes up. Yes.
How deep do you go, Dom?
Pardon?
How deep do you go?
Jamie,
how deep it goes?
That's a personal question.
You mean when the pump is turned off?
So like I've had to seriously. I've had when I put my skimmer in the sump now. Because my tank was originally a freshwater system. And the sump was obviously designed to hold a much bigger volume than I need to for a saltwater system. I've had to put my skimmer on a platform to bring it up to meet those levels. Playing around with that when I was making my little egg cradle for it, I didn't know whether it was better maybe to push the limit, to maybe push it higher up out the water column and drive more water through it via the pump, or to sink it deeper and drive. I was playing around with it, but it didn't make much difference. Is there a difference to be had?
You mean how deep the skimmer should be submerged?
Yeah, like can you tune it a bit better if you push it higher or lower?
Oh, okay. So if you have a DC skimmer, that's somehow that you can compensate that using the speed of the pump.
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
Yeah, and actually that also an art. Because that the deeper the skimmer get into the water, there's a less work the pump need to be doing. Your pump actually is more efficient. Well, when the water level, your skimmer is deeper in the water.
Yeah.
So basically, this is the fun part for you to play. That's why it's a hobby.
You've got a bigger,
exactly
you've
what
got
I've
a
been
bigger
doing,
range,
yeah.
haven't you, to make it wet or dry? Yeah, you've got a
Yeah,
bigger.
and also that, but make sure all the pump need to be submerged though.
The pump was always submerged. Yeah, I was just, I was just
At the
playing around
opening,
with
the
the height of
volume.
it.
Yeah, the opening need to be submerged. And there's one thing is that if the opening is too close to the water surface, you tend to draw air in, and that is pretty So
I thought more air was better though.
Huh?
I thought more air was better though.
But depends on where the air coming from, right?
Dong, a couple of questions in the comments section for you. John Wright's asking, question for Dong, do people make everything too complicated?
Absolutely. So the way my approach to the skimmer is pull it out of the box, assemble it, dump it into my sump, and look at it to make sure that turn on the pump. If you're drawing air from the surface, I just put a dipper. Done. And then I start to tune it, tune the speed of the motor, and normally I open up the air to its maximum. Then just wait and see, and then play with it. So there is no absolute rule for how you set up your skimmer. It's all a try and error.
Yeah.
So things are too complicated, especially when people dedicate a whole video. How do you fine tune your skimmer? It doesn't work in real life. When you're actually looking at your own skimmer, the entire story is different.
Definitely.
Yep. All right.
Fair enough.
So what's the next question?
There was one regarding CO2 scrubbers. I'm just looking for it now. What's your take on CO2 scrubbers on a protein skimmer?
Scrubber.
I think that was John as well, actually.
If you have a lot of money, sure, go for it. Because
I've personally seen a CO2 scrubber for the price. If you were going to do a comparison of price per pH uplift, I think a CO2 scrubber is really good because you don't have to invest a lot and you get quite a good return for a small amount of money on an increase of your pH.
So it's not the scrubber itself, it's the media cost.
Yeah, the media, but the concept is what I'm saying. Sorry, the concept. Yeah. So for to get a 0.2 or maybe a 0.3 bump, you don't have to spend as much as dosing calculator or maybe something that people might not want to do. Because let's be honest, the CO2 scrubber is fairly easy. You put the media in, you put the hose to your skimmer, and that's it.
There's one thing about CO2 scrubber though. So what I will do is to buy a CO2 monitor in that fish room. So if your fish room has very high CO2 concentration, let's say well above 500-600 ppm, because the natural range is about 400 to 450 ppm. So when you, I have seen some room has as high as like 800, 1000 ppm of CO2. When a fish tank sit in that kind of room with such a high CO2 level in the air, the CO2 scrubber can help. But if your CO2 is like in this room, so my room CO2 is only fluctuate around 420, something like that, then CO2 scrubber will not benefit that much. Because the water surface, actually that's not only exchange oxygen, it also exchange carbon dioxide. And then the CO2 that enter your tank mostly through the water surface. So that means that CO2 scrubber may be very effective in a room that is very high in CO2, as well as you have a tank that has very limited water surface, such as a tall, deep tank. Then the CO2 scrubber may be much more effective than if you have a frac tank, a big opening, water surface, and
it depends on the application. Depends on
the application. Because the CO2, it won't help you much when you don't have a high concentration of CO2 in your room. So
Liam Gills Aquarium, CO2 scrubber versus outside air feed.
Here's the thing. So depends on where do you live. If you live in downtown London, I don't know. I know that if I live in downtown Boston, I will not put a hose out
No,
there.
not with the pollution or pollution
Yeah.
or pollen.
Yeah, the
as well.
pollution. Yeah, and also if your city is spraying mosquitoes, spraying whatever, frequently, then you have to think very carefully if
then
you
what you
really
do,
want to
Dom,
draw the outside air.
You put
Go
the
on, Mo.
outside air through carbon and CO2 scrubber.
Yes.
Yeah,
Well,
you would. Yeah.
Let's have a
The
daisy
carbon
chain.
may not be that
And then a
effective.
skimmer on the end of that.
Exactly. Yeah.
A dry skim on the end of that, Mo.
Yeah. And then drip calc at the other end.
Yeah, then drip calc
Well,
at the end.
Exactly. So actually, people do that. Yeah, CO2 scrubber
dripping
plus calc.
Dripping calc's
So-
not a bad thing. You can
No,
mix
it's a
it,
good
you can
thing.
mix it with a teaspoon in a
Oh,
Coke bottle,
by the
put
way,
a little
do
tap
you
on it and just let it drip overnight.
yeah? Guess how much cow water, saturated cow water, I use every day? How much?
Go
Oh.
on.
Saturated cow water. How many gallon? Or how many liter?
Let's go
We'll have to
liters.
guess how much
Jamie?
I use then.
Jamie?
I reckon-
Liter.
I reckon I'm gonna go high, 5-gallon bucket.
No, we're going
More than
liters.
that.
Not liters. Let's play English.
5-gallon bucket, about 20 liter.
Yeah.
So you go 20 liters. Right, I'm going to go
Okay, right.
30 liters. Mo?
More than that.
Oh.
Wow.
40
you-
gallon.
how
40
many?
gallon equal to 160 liter.
Of saturated
You
calc.
do 160
Yes.
liters of calc.
Bloody
Yes.
hell.
Every day.
Every
Every day.
God, blimey.
Okay.
That's-
Yeah. Because that the area,
What's
the
your
amount of water.
volume?
So
the
because
volume?
I have a blower to blow all the air outside. So right now my humidity is only around 40% to 45%. Very dry in a room filled with water.
What's your system volume?
My system volume around approximately like 1,500 gallon.
Yeah, big system.
1,500 gallon.
But still,
Wow.
that's a lot. Still a lot of calc.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a lot of cow. I got so much evaporation because I have blower to blow the air out to keep the humidity low.
Wow.
But you must have a lot of corals, a lot of SPS to.
Yes,
use up
I
that
do.
much
Yeah.
calc, yeah?
Yeah,
That's a massive
Mhm.
consumption,
And
isn't it? That's
are you
a lot.
yeah,
just
that's
on
a
calc?
massive consumption.
Are you just on calc or do you use all for reef as well?
Oh, yeah, right. No, on two of my actually I have calcium reactor.
Okay, so it's
Yeah.
not just calc then. Then that's massive.
Yeah,
I need some of your
So,
corals
yeah.
then. Don't send me
Because
some.
that- this system consume 5 to 6 DKH a day. 5 to 6 DKH.
Wow.
So when I change
great.
out my calcium reactor, I have to put on my dosing pump.
Wow.
So
Wow,
yeah,
just for that time. Wow,
Okay.
that's incredible. That is.
That's good, yeah.
yeah, that's why this thing grow like nuts. So
Wow.
right now
Okay.
my biggest challenge is that they have no room to put frags. That's why many corals sitting there. I cannot frag them because I don't have a frag rack space.
Oh, I feel so
Do
sorry.
you believe
for you,
in?
mate.
Do you, do you believe in precipitation?
Me
then?
too.
Dom, do you believe in
and
precipitation?
I'm selling
He's
colonies.
putting frags in the skimmer next.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
so that you buy this frag, then you got a 1 liter of skim made with it.
Dom, do you
So-
believe that you get precipitation then when using so much calc?
No, not at all. Not at all. Because
No
that
deposits
first of
or
all,
no-
those are the saturated solution, not the slurry.
Yeah.
Second thing is that my
Yeah.
calcium level is always hovering about 425 to 430. So you
Yeah.
never pass 450.
Mhm.
Then the alkalinity
Yeah.
around 8 to 9. So that
What's the pH?
the pH is wow. Okay, you bring up the biggest can of worm that just opened up. So to accurately measure pH, I probably have to spend $600 for a pro and $1,200 for a machine, which the money I do not have.
Mhm.
So
Sell a few
using
corals, you'll have plenty of money.
Yeah,
Well,
Mo
the
does.
thing-
Mo will buy them off you, and you can do an exchange. Easy, done. You heard it here.
I use a crappy pH pen that I calibrated all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
So the crappy pH pen reads about 8.2.
And then those
Okay, so that's-
calc, and you're still 8.2.
Yeah, it's not as
Yeah,
high as I thought it'd
8.2,
be.
That's
and
'cause
then
you've got
at
no
nighttime is
CO2.
about 7.9. 7.9 to 8.2.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean,
Wow.
I thought you'd be at 8.6.
No.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Well, if
Yeah.
I'm on 8. If I read this thing 8.6, I would think that I need to recalibrate the machine, this pen, because 8. Well, now here's a problem about this hobby. All these equipments are manufactured so unprecisely. So you can use the pH pen, a pH Pro for this hobby to follow the trend. The trend is real. The absolute number is not real at all.
Yeah.
So one time that I was reading 8.6, 8.7, I said, holy crap. Then I calibrated the pen, the pH pen, it dropped back to 8.2.
Yeah, but if
So-
you just follow a trend, you don't need to calibrate.
Yeah, I don't have to. For matter of
Yeah,
fact,
yeah.
I don't take the pH all the time. And another thing is that pH meter, the pH Pro, are not meant to be submerged 24/7 in the water. It will
No, but
basically.
you should store them damp though. You don't want them to dry out.
Not only that, you have to store it in a case 3 molar potassium chloride solution, so that the internal standard doesn't get messed up.
Yeah.
So-
and I think that's around about pH 4, 4.5, right? You want to store it at.
You can do that. Actually, some people store it at a 4.5 or something like that, the pH solution. That's fine. Or you can just store it in the KCl potassium chloride 3M solution, and you can just buy the solution dirt cheap from Amazon, and just store your probe there. So for pH, I never trust the absolute number, but I just look at the trend.
Okay.
So, yeah, and also by the way, that I don't think the pH past 8.2 or 8.3 make that much difference at all. The difference is not that significant.
There's a question here from Derek Hebbs. Where do you start with Cald? We're talking about
What do you mean
skimmers
by
for a second, but we can answer that while we're on this bit of a marathon on a Friday night, Derek. So give us a bit more specific what you're looking for on that. I'm sure people in the comments will help you as well. Next slide, Don.
Yep. Okay, should I run my skimmer 24/7? Yes, of course. Run it 24/7. First, you cannot over skim your tank. That just miss about over skimming your tank. And then also a skimmer helps to maintain the oxygen level, which is good. Run them for 24/7. And also sometimes you will notice some of the pH boost. That is just because that the air exchange from a skimmer. So when you're running a skimmer, it's much better than not running a skimmer. And 24/7, when the pump running 24/7, that there will be less chance for a little critter that get into the hole.
Well, you talked about changing that earlier. You said 2 years, didn't you? The
The needle wheel, yeah, I
needle
change
wheel,
every 2
yeah.
years. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
What's your take on the maintenance then? We kind of touched on it a little bit earlier.
Okay.
So
Yep.
when do people do it? So people do a water change, and let's just say people do weekly. Obviously they're gonna empty the cup, aren't they? The skimmer cup, because it's there. They can physically see it. You know, rinse a filter sock or change some filter floss, whatever. When it comes to, because not all DC skimmer pumps are that easy to take apart, and you've got to, how often should people?
Okay. So there are several procedures. So every week, I will blow into that air tube. It sounds so bad. So to make sure that the air tubing going to the volute, and that is clear. And I can sometimes I drop some distilled water in there to make sure that is I do it. I check every week to make sure that, well, probably every week is too much. So to make sure that, or you can look at the bubble. When the bubble getting less bubble, that's the first thing to check is if the air tubing and that airline is totally clean. So for DC
why are you
skimmer,
using, Don? Why are you using distilled water? You should be using your tap water.
because distilled water is convenient. It's muddy basket. It's already in a bucket, in a jug. It's so convenient. And also the other thing is that I just think that the distilled water dissolve the salt a little bit better.
Okay.
Yeah, well, but I can use my tap water, but I always have this jug there. That's why this still water. So, then the for AC skimmer, when I was still running AC skimmer, I checked the AC skimmer chamber every month because that is a nightmare to do because you have to shut down the skimmer, pull it out, and look at the pump or disassemble the pump.
Yeah.
Look, that's painful. When I switched to all DC skimmer, I check the pump every 2 years to replace the needle wheel.
So you
I haven't
automatically
checked
just
this.
change it.
I just changed
Wow.
the needle wheel after 2 years.
Mhm.
So I have
Okay.
these rebreeders, the skimmer, with a small neck and big belly. So it's not 2 years old yet. I actually never clean it ever since I'm running it, probably more than a year, something now. Running in that, I never even look at it. It's
Does
just
the calculator make a difference? Do you find you ever
I
get
don't
any
think so.
precipitation on there? No.
No, I don't think so. Because if you are injecting the cutwater slurry, that maybe
Yeah.
there's some difference. But
Sure.
for the clear cutwater, especially what's piping in small amount, I don't think they have any issue on the skimmer pump. Especially for DC pump, there's such a big area at the front, so there's very little chance to jam it up. Oh, skimmer cup, that probably is the most obvious place to clean.
Yeah.
So I like to use the drain line to drain the cup instead of take it out to clean it. So I have a little trick. So assuming this is the inside of the skimmer neck is dirty, I got a stick. Just keep scrubbing it and turn the skimmer up really tall. So it's forming really fast and push all the gunk out. I just use okay, this is more appropriate. Assuming this is the inside of the skimmer neck, I get a rod. I just keep like that. And then I set the skimmer pump really fast and pushing all the gunk out. And that's my maintenance for the skimmer cup.
So you actually
Simple,
turn
easy.
the pump off and then do that,
No, turn the pump on at fast speed.
and then you push that thing in and grind it down.
Yeah, and then just scrape it.
Yeah. For those of
So,
you in the
and
live
let
audience
the
that would like
water
to see
push
that
the
video of
gunk
Dong
out.
doing that with his fingers, toes,
no.
and whatever else, there is a separate stream. We
That's-
will
that's
put
why
a
you've
link
got no need-
in this video at the end of this stream.
That's why you've got no needles on the needle wheel.
Yes, exactly. Can I just say though, incidentally, people
Yeah.
take the skimmer cup off, or they drain it, like you rightly say,
Mhm.
which is an option. One of the things that I found that a lot of people tend to forget about, which was something I ignored for years, was the actual just the neck of the skimmer, the inside neck of the skimmer. For the simple reason that a lot of people would empty the skimmer cup with the skimmer still switched on. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. People do it. I've done it. Still do it sometimes to this day.
And then
It isn't until depending on where the running level is as well though. But it isn't until you turn it off and obviously that drops that you actually see the build up further down the body of the skimmer, which can have a massive detrimental effect on the overall performance of the skimmer. Do you not agree?
yeah, I think so. Yeah, yes. And then this thing come in handy. Paper towel. So to take care of the body of the skimmer, I shut off the skimmer, get a piece of paper towel, go there and wipe.
Yes.
On the inside?
So,
On the inside?
yeah, inside. I just clean paper towel, go inside and wipe it down. That's it.
Yeah.
Definitely. Okay.
Simple and easy. That I don't have to take the skimmer out of the sump.
And how often would you
Yeah.
clean the pump in the skimmer then? Again, for people watching or
For DC pump, I don't clean the DC pump at all.
at all. Okay.
Yeah, I just take it out and change the propeller because I try to clean them. There's nothing to clean. I really seriously don't see much to clean. So yeah, if there are critters outside the case, it's
Yeah.
fine. Then every time I take open a DC pump, there's really not much to clean at all inside. So then when I pull out the propeller, there may be some gunk right there. I just wipe, put it back,
Yeah.
done.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Derek Hobbs was asking about Carl classes, just to go off on a bit of a tangent and come back to him.
Okay.
Derek, so we're not ignoring you. How many litres was his question? Was stepping into Calquasser, how many litres should he be doing on average a day? A few people in the comments were helping him in terms of obviously evaporation and his usage.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think
So
you
yeah,
first need
it's
to-
about how much you can evaporate.
Yeah,
That's one thing. And also what kind of coral you have and what's your demand for alkalinity and calcium. So it really depends on each tank. There's no set number at all.
look
Yeah,
at
you have to
evaporation
test.
and go slowly.
If you have no evaporation, Cutwasser is not the
Not
way
for
to
you.
go.
No,
Not for
definitely
you. Yeah, try the 2-part dosing.
Next slide.
Yep, next slide. If there's a next slide, I don't.
Ooh,
Oh,
there
okay.
is.
How do I fine tune your skimmer? It's an art, and also that you got what you bought. You don't get upset. When you bought the skimmer, bring it home. You pay the money. You watch the advertisement. You live with it. The ability to because when you buy a Chevy, you cannot fine tune it into a Lamborghini. As simple as that. You bought a Chevy, you stuck with a Chevy, right? So they're really not that much of fine tuning. You can change. Well, if you have a DC skimmer, you can change the pump speed. You can change the air. There's sometimes on a silencer there's a knob to adjust the air intake, and you can. The last thing you want to do is adjust the skimmer how deep you sit in the water, and pretty much that's it.
Yeah, definitely.
And how fine the bubble the skimmer produce is depending on the pump. You bought the pump will always depends on the design of the needle wheel. This is all fixed. You cannot do much about it. So you purchase a skimmer, you live with it. Yeah, that's basically.
I'm conscious some people are flagging in the audience because we're well over the 2.5 hour mark now, but we'll carry on for a little bit while we wrap this up. One question I've got for you. One question I've got for you that I think again is relevant to the conversation that we've not really talked about is placement of the skimmer in a sump. In a sump, okay?
Okay.
So I know the right place to put it, and I'm sure a lot of people in the audience know the right place to put it. So people that have maybe got one or not too sure, or maybe upgrading their tank, a lot of us in the marine, we quite often we see with our eyes, we put it where we want it to go, where it looks nicest, where it looks the best, or where it's going to look really sexy on Instagram. Where's the right place to put it?
The place that the water level does not fluctuate.
Okay.
Yeah.
The place that your ATO is not sitting at. Yeah, that's basically look at where your ATO is. So you put it in a different chamber than your ATO.
Yeah.
But you want it nearer the dirty end of the sump or the cleaner end of the sump?
Yes.
I think that some is such a small volume, probably they're pretty much the same.
Yeah. In most cases, we've got a roller mat or a refugium, haven't we?
Okay.
Yeah.
So
then we're going into some biomedia, maybe live rock. Then we've got skimmer / reactor section / return pump / ATO.
Mm-hmm. I think that well, I don't think it really matters that much. Yeah. So as long as the water level is relatively stable, or should be stable, and that because the outside water level dramatically affected the performance of the skimmer.
Yeah.
So you do not want to put in the same place as your ATO, because that's a place that the water level fluctuates the most. And before or after refugium, probably it doesn't really matter that much. Actually,
sorry,
I'm trying
to figure out if Mo's still got headphones on or it's a bandana. We're after 10 o'clock. He's like, oh, right, okay. We're still there. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry,
so there's one guy actually. There's one guy came to me and then asked me the question is that if he put his skimmer after his refugium, will the needle wheel kill his cocoa pods? I said, well, does the cocoa pod also need to go through your return pump?
I think my only experience
So it
with the
probably doesn't
refusion,
make too much difference.
my only personal experience with the refusion and a skimmer was when I had it tumbling like a bit of a, I'm going to say kebab in England because that's how I think with my eyes, food obviously, is I used to constantly have to pull it out of the needle wheel because it used to just get clogged up in it.
Oh,
Not
okay.
all the time,
okay.
but
Yeah.
enough. Yeah. To
Yeah,
affect the
that makes
performance.
sense to put the skimmer before the refusion.
Yeah.
Because when you have these nasty macroalgae that fly over.
Yeah.
So since I get rid of all my refugium, I don't have that problem anymore.
You know, the Triton method specifically have the skimmer after the algae bed.
Yes.
So,
Why?
Yeah, I can't. There is a theory, so I can't.
Well, the theory is that the refusion does the donkey work from memory,
Yeah,
and it feeds your microfauna and your critters basically from the tank, and then the protein skimmer takes out, polishes it.
Yeah, so all the live stuff takes what it needs before the skimmer takes out the excess. Yeah.
The skimmer works. The skimmer works in a little bit like a resin bed in an RO machine almost. Polishes
it's
it.
very specific. It's very specific. Isan says it has to be after the algae bed. So.
Yeah. Okay.
I think that probably is. I think in reality, probably is not that critical.
Yeah, I mean,
No,
it's the same water in the system, isn't it? I mean, you might argue just after,
exactly.
so you might get more, but
it's
how
and also the skimmer is not like a filter sock, because a filter sock, a roller, every drop of water goes through that physical filtration. Your skimmer is just sitting there, and then plenty of water and critter bypassing it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, got another slide.
Yeah, the last slide. Okay, I promise. So have you ever think about a multiple skimmer approach? Because each needle wheel, each pump are designed differently, and then what kind of organic you pull out, it heavily depends on the design of the needle wheel and the pump. Different manufacturer are different types of skimmer. They pull out different kind of organic. When you're combining multiple skimmer from different manufacturer or different the different mechanism, like this bucket skimmer is not a needle wheel, so the bucket skimmer, they pull out the organic can be quite different from what a needle wheel pull out, which is a bucket skimmer I show on the slide. Have you ever think about that? Maybe a viable approach?
You got me thinking now, because I was literally having this thought in my head at the start of the week, because I've got on my tank behind me, I've got a spare chamber at the start where I was like, I've got a skimmer in the shed I've not used for years. What harm would it do while I'm going through the early phase? What harm would it do to stick another skimmer at the front? Of the salt?
What, two heads are better than one and all that?
Just because I've got to get the nutrients out of this, because it's all dead rock. I'm going through the whole process of taking out all the whatever it's absorbed. I'm taking out nitrate, phosphate. Can I overskim? What harm would it do to stick another skimmer in? Would I get more skimmate at the start of the sump than I would where it is now, which is about here? I don't know. I just thought, should I have a go? I haven't done it yet, but look, this is great for me. I'm supposed to be here
give it a try, because I try it. I try it. The reason is that I usually have 2 skimmer in one system. Until the coral grow that much, too much, I have to use that chamber for my coral instead of use it for a skimmer. So when I use 2 skimmer in a system, it's kind of interesting that what they pull out is quite different. Even the skimming if the feels different, even smells different. Especially when I use a bucket skimmer.
Do you think a lot of that's down to the needle wheel then? The design of it? Is that what we're saying?
It's all down to the needle wheel design. And also that, mostly the needle wheel design.
So theoretically, there's a market for somebody to design different shaped needle wheels for each skimmer. So you can change
Absolutely.
See?
Well, but changing the needle wheel then is a lot of work. So why not buy a used skimmer and if you buy 2 same skimmer
and change different needle wheel, run different
needle wheel. You work the same. So but the best combination I try is I use a bucket skimmer, the Venturi skimmer, alongside with a needle wheel skimmer. There's what they skim out is definitely different. Definitely, it smells different. It tastes
interesting, 'cause it-
no
it's just-
taste. It's
same-
different.
It's the same thing though, right? It's the air and the air and the foam fractionation is pulling out the same stuff. Why is it different?
Oh, because
What
of
makes it
different
different?
bubble size, they actually attract the molecule that stick on it can be different, can have some selectivity. Bubble size,
Right.
flow rate, the how the bubble is being generated. Either you generate by the needle wheel by blending them up, or through a venturi by high pressure spraying.
Yeah.
That can make a difference.
So
That
by
was
that very
definitely-
nature, then, depending on what model skimmer you buy, you might have different results from what you're skimming out. Then
Oh yes, yeah, that has been demonstrated is true for years.
That
What?
was
Wow.
sorry. Do you remember Corral and Zoot had KZ had a skimmer, Beckett skimmer? They had a Venturi design.
Yeah, yeah.
And their theory was that needle wheels take out some, I don't know, something that was counterproductive to the KZ system. So they were
Yeah, I
always
heard about that. Yes.
advocating- yeah. So they were dead against needle wheels and used to use Venturi skimmers. But I don't know what the theory exactly was, but
I don't remember
apparently
exactly.
it's
There's something they take
KZ.
out.
Yeah. But
Okay.
that's interesting
Okay.
thought.
Yeah.
I don't know. But there aren't many Venturi skimmers around now, are there? It's all
No,
mostly
not many.
needle
So
wheels.
the good thing is that the live
Only in
reef
your cupboard, I
skimmer
think.
in US it still exists.
Which one
And
is
that
that?
thing is a live reef.
Ah.
Is a US company who
Okay.
the guy called Jeff, and he handmade this kind of thing, the Beckett
Mm.
skimmer. Yeah,
Wow.
quite expensive, but he's the only manufacturer in US that still make the skimmer. And people who use the live reef skimmer, they swear by it, and they said, "Wow!" Then, but I think both needle wheel and the Venturi skimmer they both work, but the result is significantly different. What
Do
they're
you-
putting out.
Do skimmers skim out trace elements?
Yes and no. So normally, here's actually that's another can of worm that's just being opened. But great question, great question. Here's the thing. So when we dose trace element, depends on how the trace element is prepared. For example, if the trace element is naked, it just have no other organic molecule that chelate to it, protecting it. It could very well just precipitate out like a lanthanum chloride.
Yeah.
Because our system is filled with carbonate, and transitional metal carbonate are highly insoluble. So they just have a micro precipitation, and your skimmer take it out. So another thing is that the trace element can when those bubble, the dirty bubble forms, of course that many things can stick to it, but think about it this way is that if the trace element is totally soluble in the water and dispersed throughout the system, well, the percentage you take out is not very big. So I won't even worry about it taking out trace element, but I will worry about the type of trace element that I dose. Will it precipitate directly after you hit the water?
Interesting.
And most likely you
Okay.
will. Yeah. Yeah.
Right, I'm going to put us in here 10 minutes before 3 hour mark. Don, thanks ever so much for what you've put in, the effort you've put in into your presentation, into the knowledge. Can you just give us a brief summary for people watching this back again? Maybe it's live or, like I said, they watch it back tomorrow or over the weekend. So, top tips on skimmer usage. So, what should people be doing? What should people be looking for? If they were going to buy a new skimmer, what should they look out for? Give us a bit of a brief summary. What's your top tips?
So if I'm shopping for a skimmer today, first priority is that I will get a DC skimmer. First priority.
Yeah.
Second thing is I will buy a skimmer that as big as possible that can fit into my thumb.
Yeah.
Third thing is that I will run the skimmer 24/7, and I won't put too much hope to fine tune a Chevy to a Lamborghini.
Yeah. Okay.
So you get what you get.
Yeah.
Yes.
And also, if the chance of if you got a chance to buy a used one, go for it.
Go for it. Save yourself some money.
Yep.
Yes, definitely.
Save some money.
Never ending
Every
hobby.
penny counts.
Every penny counts. Okay. Thank you very much for that.
I think
Mo?
I've learned a lot tonight, to be fair. I've actually learned genuinely
thank
quite
you.
there's a lot of eye-opening things tonight. It's great.
Yeah, very much so.
As
Like I
always,
said,
Don. Thank you.
As always, Don.
Thank
you
you,
very
thank you.
much for your contribution. Mo, lovely to see you in the panel tonight. You're going to come back again?
Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for inviting me.
Good man. Top man.
That's good fun.
Good man. I love the sweatband. It's definitely a catch on. Jamie, I'm sure you will look back at this stream. You will look back at this stream, Jamie, as to what the display tank behind you looked like 6 months before it turned into an algae, whatever you have to deal with. I hope it's not too bad, my good old friend.
Coin a phrase, a mouldy fuck bunker.
Yes, that's the one. Yes, I wasn't going to go there, but thanks to those 60, 70 odd at one point that have joined us this Friday night. I hope you've enjoyed it. It's been very informative, very, very knowledgeable, Don.
Thank you.
You are literally a reefing wizard. We are back next Friday. We've got our man from across the pond, Leonardo from Leonardo's Reef, is going to be joining us next Friday for a catch up to have a look at some of his sexy sticks for sure. So that leaves me to say, have a cracking weekend, everybody. What's left of it on a Friday night / nearly Saturday morning. But thanks for tuning in, and we will see you all next Friday. Thank you very much. Have a good weekend. See you all soon.
Thanks,
Take care.
everyone.
Bye bye for
Thank
now.
you.